Hello, everyone.
I am gonna preface this with my brain feels like mush.
Oh dear, what happened?
It's just tired boys, tired bored days, and I'm
so
obviously I have
sorry.
an obsession at the moment.
Yes, you
My
very
brain
much
is
do.
very
Or-
preoccupied right now. Hey, it's
Guys,
my turn. You got Trigun. Now we're here.
I'm gonna expose Ori. She is such a dungeon
Ori has
meshy
money,
gremlin.
and now I'm just hoarding dungeon meshy
You-
merch.
It's not even hoarding. You're like a dragon sitting on your collection.
That's hoarding, yeah. A hoard, my hoard.
But you don't have it yet.
I'm getting ready for
Guys,
it. I'm gearing up.
Remember how Ori went on record one time saying, I don't really like the human plushies all that much. They just look kind of weird. Guess what she just
this is
bought?
the whole thing. This is the whole thing. It's more like I know I'm going to regret it if I don't get right. Like I know I'm at this point with I love Leo so much that I know that if I'm missing the plushie, I'm gonna have massive regret because it's not gonna come back. You know, like I don't.
That is very true.
I saw that the noodle stopper sold out, and I was like,
I am hoping they do a
don't have a
rerun
choice.
of that. I am.
Oof, I'm so sorry, Mason. Hello, pastry puff.
Finances are rough. Hello, pastry puff. Hello, Mason.
See, that's the secret, Mars. I have a job that I have disposable income as part of that job.
I see. I just have peanuts.
You have a college job. They're different.
They're very different.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get a good chunk.
I'm in Spain without the S, Ori.
I have a really nice job. Like it's a cush job, man. Like,
She's got a hella good job, you guys.
Hey, I suffered for 2 years.
You deserve it. You deserve it.
We're here. But
meanwhile, I'm gonna be paying for tests. I have to pay for my graduate.
I'm very sorry about.
Guys, I just found out I am walking, like graduation ceremony walking, in May, and I wasn't aware of this because I just realized, holy crap, that's 3 months away. What the hell?
Oh yeah, it's very soon.
That's also master's gowns are not cheap, so
nope.
There's that.
Spain without the A. Yes.
Spin. You're in Spin. I'm so sorry. Well, it depends. Is Spin a good place? Is it treating you well?
It depends. But the other problem with the dungeon meshy brain rot is that the fact that I'm drawing anything but attempting to perfect my Leos and make him drink milk, here we are.
See, here's how I see it, is that you have been obsessed with dungeon meshy for a very long time, but you've had no way to fulfill your desires for merchandise.
It was kind of niche. So the second
so
that
now
was like
it's
I want to
become mainstream, and you're being fed very well.
Being fed so well, too well, some might say.
Which is very fitting. If a food series is not feeding you well, is it even a food series?
I will say, I am shook by one thing. And that is the amount of artists that I have followed for fucking years. Like, these are artists that I followed for Voltron content, right?
Yep.
Like, this is how old we are.
And they're all falling in love with it.
No. Not even newly getting into it, but they're putting out Dungeon Meshy content that has characters and designs that are not part of the show yet. That are some incredibly far down the line. Right, and so in my brain, it's just like, hold on, you're telling me
you were always a fan?
Manga? Like, excuse me? Why were you not? Hello? Come on.
Because it was niche. It wasn't mainstream yet.
It's the same vibe as when you have a creator and you really, really like the creator, and then suddenly you find out they're also ace. It's just like,
oh yeah, 100%.
Hello, thank you.
It's like, okay,
oh, wow.
I knew there was a reason I liked you.
Yeah, really. Just like, oh.
We are all vibing. We are living our best lives.
Yeah,
Guys,
literally the pastry puff
Wolf,
is just like, holy
Wolfwood
shit, wait,
arrived
what?
today. Like, this was
Yes. I can't believe mine
fantastic.
came, like, before yours.
I ordered mine before yours.
Yeah! What happened?
Although I will say this, they did reach out to me with a you need to switch up your payment email.
So maybe that was why.
That was probably why it got a little bit delayed. But I also got a secret Figma from their Lunar New Year promotion. It honestly looks pretty cool. I don't know the character. She's from a video game series I have never played before, but maybe now, thanks to this, I will play that game.
It's an RPG.
Or watch
It
a
looks
Let's
like there's
Play.
2 of them.
When I looked it up, they said there are 26 games in the series.
Oh my god, I only saw
And
it.
I was
kept
like,
giving me
"Blah!"
cover art of 2 games, and I was like, what? 26?
Nope.
Wow.
That's what I found on the official wiki, but most of those are spin-off games.
Ah.
Like with other characters in the lead. Like it's kind of like the Tales of series. Like you have Tales of Zestiria, Tales of Symphonia. Like it just keeps going on and on. They rename it, but it always keeps that core. So like the first one is Atelier, Ryzion, Atelier, Sophia, Atlia, like etc. etc.
Well then.
But she's an alchemist, which, you know,
yeah, it
right
looked
up
pretty
my
cool. It
alley.
looked pretty cool, you know, if I'm being completely honest.
She looks kick-ass. I can't wait to take her out of her box. I ran out of time to do it. I had to get Wolfwood up. Poor Vash has been without his boyfriend for so long. I couldn't keep them apart any longer. I had to put them together. I had
One of
to.
the coolest things about that
Our
Vash
star-crossed lovers.
and the Wolfwood pop-up parades is that the poses that they're at, when you shove their bases together,
they're so
like,
complimentary.
And it's just like, oh, hello. Thank you.
They are so freaking complimentary. I honestly did mine in the exact same way that Ori did hers. I put Wolfwood in front. The way he's posed, guys, he's kind of like doing this twisting.
He's kind of doing
look
like a dodge.
shoulder.
And then
Vash and he's
like
got the Punisher,
shooting.
and then Vash is like on his knees shooting. So it's like if you position it just right, you can get Vash's arm in front of Wolfwood, and it looks like he's protecting him.
Yeah, it's really good. And they're both like looking the same way, like exactly the same way. It's really
they knew. They freaking
knew.
How could they not know?
All I'm saying is that, you know, we're coming up with ideas for ideally a future you know, figure.
Oh, absolutely. We are being inspired, you guys. We are being absolutely
I will also say
inspired.
this has re-kicked in like the Ori needs to make like merch for Outcast stuff, like more than just posters. The posters were like, I know how to do this. I've done this before. You know, like I can print posters. I know how to print posters.
It was also a good trial run for figuring out how to ship things. We do know that one has successfully arrived, so that's a plus.
It's so wild. It's so weird.
They aren't in chat, but maybe they'll pop in later.
It's so, like, surreal, man. That, like, it's like, oh, somebody has the poster. It's so wild.
It is insane. Oh, one other thing I must mention about today. I think Pastry Puff has successfully turned me into a Professor Layton I don't know if I could say fan because I haven't played the games and I've only had exposure to one game.
You're not allowed to play the games?
And even then, what?
You're not allowed to play the games.
I didn't play the game. I watched the cutscene for research.
I'm telling you, you're not allowed to play the games. Okay?
I know.
Because there's a significantly non-zero chance that we will play them years down the line.
But the characters sound really cute in the cutscenes, and they're all British and charming.
And
it's got like a Beatrix Potter vibe to it. Okay, guys, this is a problem. I'm starting to realize I have a type when it comes to the shows and media I consume. I just want an adult version of Beatrix Potter stories. Like, that's essentially it. Traveling through grassy countrysides with nice music in the background.
This is why you like Studio Ghibli,
fantasy. Mars. This is why I like Studio Ghibli. This is why I like Studio Ghibli. This is why I like Freerun. This is why, like, help me.
No,
help me.
No. lost me at British.
It's
Oh
a
no.
problem.
Mason, I hope you'll like our British accents when we finally play the Great Ace Attorney. Because I know at least the main guy has a British accent, apparently.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a blast.
Hey, Ori has 2 male voices before starting Ace Attorney, and that's Phoenix's voice and a character I played called Kazoo, who had a British accent.
Well,
and it was what I
now-
put into Professor, Detective Grimoire when we played Tangled Tower. So, I got the British down. I'm excited. I think I can manage, a Phoenix-esque British accent. And,
I think you can do it.
I think I'm pretty excited that. Honestly, the one I'm most scared for is
Apollo.
No, actually, I think I can at least
really?
manage something out of Apollo. I have no idea.
You used to be scared of Apollo. I do remember that.
I'm concerned that he is just gonna be Phoenix, and that is my concern. However, I am confident that I can do a voice that I think suits Apollo, just whether or not it's to Phoenix. Honestly, now that I've done Ferrix, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna give him Ferrix's voice. I feel like that's pretty
I
vibe.
feel like Apollo's gonna he's gonna sound like probably a mix between Ferrix and Phoenix.
Yeah.
But he's gonna have more of that boyish energy.
Ferrix
like that
is
fresh from the bar energy.
Ferrix is basically Phoenix's voice with significant less gravel, and I feel like that makes sense for a much younger character that is Apollo. So he's probably just gonna be Ferrix's voice, basically. So I'm much less concerned now. I'm scared for this dude that I'm going to voice in Investigations.
Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that. I gotta be honest, I don't know any of the characters I could potentially voice in Investigations. I'm going in blind.
Oh, look at that, Mars. Pastry Pup said that the aspect of the candle spelling "Happy Birthday" was very appropriate for Professor Layton, because they even have puzzles involving spelling or drawing pictures out of matchsticks.
Holy crow, I didn't even know that.
Yellow Fluff Boy.
I mean, no, I totally knew that. That's why I incorporated that, I did my research like a good writer.
The dude on the cover, Pastry Pup.
That totally wasn't coincidental. Totally. Pastry Pup, I'm glad that I'm glad it worked out. As Professor Layton said, let's chalk it up to a happy coincidence.
He's kind of got
or something like that. I don't remember what I wrote.
Yeah. The dude here on the cover. This guy. I'm gonna voice him, which I'm excited because look at him. I mean,
that looks fun. He
but
looks
also,
like Proto Tigre.
I'm not a man. And
more Goku and less Vegeta.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not a man, which some might surprise you. I don't have a man's voice. And yeah, I know, Mars. It's been a long kept
all
secret.
This time.
And thus I want to do a good job. You know what I'm saying? I wish with all of my heart that I could just turn on the man voice, because honestly,
I wish
male
with all
singers,
my heart to do the man voice without
masculine voice singing is epic as fuck. I'm upset that I sing like a woman. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I wish I sung like a man.
No, you need that vocal range. You gotta thread the needle between here's my woman voice and then here's my baritone.
I'm honestly, maybe I'm delusional, but I at least think that Phoenix sounds like a dude at this point.
I think he sounds
I think
like
at the beginning he didn't really sound like a dude. He sounded like me.
Ori, I think you've achieved the levels that Ash Ketchum's voice actress has achieved.
Yeah, that is my goal. That is my goal.
It's a woman doing
Tara
the voice,
Strong
but it passes for a boy.
Right?
Oh,
or I'm pretty sure
Tara Strong is on a whole nother level. I don't know what she does with her voice to get to sound that way.
But just the idea of that,
holy crow,
I'm
Bubbles
woman,
to Timmy
or
turns to Raven.
Naruto's voice,
Holy
all that
shit.
sort of stuff, right? And I'm pretty sure that Molly's brother's voice actor is likely a woman. No, you know what? You know what my goal
No,
is?
I think it is, because isn't it the same VA for Amethyst
I think
in
it is.
Steven
Yeah,
Universe?
you're right. You're right. We did. Yeah, you're right.
And we know that
No,
they also did V in the Owl House.
my goal is Chilchuck's voice, English voice.
Yes!
That is
man.
is my goal. Where it's like, God damn, is this dude?
Okay.
It's a dude.
I so want to hear Chilchuck's voice actor. I wish I could remember the name, but they are
I can't
so
remember their
talented.
name. They're non-binary.
The way they are bringing Chilchuck to life and just giving this character so much energy and so much fire to it, like,
but it's still
I love it,
like a masculine voice, and I'm just like,
it's still a pretty masculine voice, but it works.
Like, how do you do this? Tell me your secrets. Bart Simpson. Yeah, see, there's a fair amount of like young boys that are like.
It's not Tara
women.
Strong that does
Bart.
Oh yeah,
no.
Yeah. No, you're right. I just can't remember her name. She also does like a whole bunch of Simpson like the woman who does Bart Simpson also does Maggie's voice.
Oh, look at
which
that.
is like the funniest thing. There was one video that was going around showing her doing all the different voices, and she's just like cycling through them, and then she ends the video doing like the baby sucking on the pacifier noises. And I'm just looking at her like, oh, that's how she makes that sound.
Oh,
I didn't know that's how you do that.
That was like the vibe I got when I saw what's his name, that SpongeBob's voice actor, do the laugh and how he like hits,
and he was like beating on his voice box.
Yeah, and it's like
that
makes so
that
much
was crazy.
Sense, but my brain was like, you just did that somehow, and you were just epic, you know.
No, that's what I'm saying, Mason. It's not the words. It's just like the type, like the sucking on the passport. Like that's literally what she did.
Yeah.
She just like blew a raspberry in front of the camera and then made like the bowel sucking noise. And I'm just like, oh wow, okay. I thought those were stock noises. I didn't know they actually had a voice actor doing them.
That's always wild to me. The like extra noises, right? Also, Mars.
Yeah.
I like briefly watched like 5 minutes at max of the Alejandro Saab like smasher pass of the characters he's voiced. And there's that one character that I'm like, I need to watch this anime now. He was like Twilight the Demon King or something from like it was like very early, and it was like an anime.
Okay. I mean, I believe
I'm gonna find it. And he like looked really cool, and I'm like, if it's Alejandro Saab, I'm like, yes, we need to. It's called Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle. And he's like, he looks so cool. And I'm like,
I don't know if this is gonna be as wholesome as you're hoping, Ori.
Well, I'll have to look into it more. But this is him. And I'm like, vibe.
Vibe indeed. It's
and
so
I don't know. I don't know. Sayu said smash, and then he was like cute and stuff, and I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna have to check it out.
We trust Sayu. We trust that recommendation.
I mean, the brief look at the wiki is like really pink and pretty, so I don't know. It gives me good hope.
It's worth checking out. I don't see why not. Let's do it. I have actually been listening to some amazing voice acting. Holy shit, you guys. I started watching Frieren at Journey's End. Amazing anime. If you haven't watched it yet, oh my god, I implore you to. It's a fantasy anime. No isekai. It's just they're in this world. This is their world. It was theirs from the beginning. It's theirs till the end. It's perfect. Each episode literally like feels like a D&D kit. Guys, it's so damn good. But I can talk more about that when we talk about character histories.
Well, that's what you can go into now.
But well, I wanted to mention something else super quick because this is the big point that won me over. I was so caught between whether to watch Frieren in the sub or the dub because I'm typically a sub person. I like how the original Japanese voice actors add emotion to their dialogue. I feel like sometimes they do a better job of it just because there is that connection to the source material, like it's already in the Japanese language. Sometimes you like got the translation errors. That doesn't happen as much anymore, so I don't really have that argument anymore.
Yeah,
So I
honestly.
honestly, recently, I have been a lot more open to dubs. I have watched Promare in dub. I've watched Orin High School in dub, Princess
Which
Tutu,
is an older
and
one, which are both older ones, but still really good.
yeah, but they're honestly really good. And this is what happens when you get people who care about what they're making and not just trying to make a cheap buck. Um,
You kind of
no,
hear the
no
Naruto
disrespect.
dub issue, and then you just like,
Well, I don't want to be mean because every voice actor works their ass off to do these voices. They're being called in for recordings. They're not getting, it's you make what you make. It's like it's long story short, respect to voice actors. I'm not hating on them. But long story short, I do typically prefer the sub. This
yes,
time
pastry puff. The Psyche K
Psyche
dub
K in
is,
dub was
yeah,
the only
that's what
way I
we.
could watch Psyche
It
K.
has too much
Subtitles in Psyche K
brain
gave
stuff
me a headache.
otherwise. Yeah, I don't like. I don't
Because they
find
have people
myself to be
talking in the
bad.
background, then you have Psyche's
Yeah.
thoughts, then you have like a side thing happening in the corner, and it
Oh,
was just like, I've
how you
gone
doing,
cross-eyed.
Oscar?
I can't read this anymore. Hey, Oscar. Um, so that was my big conundrum when I came to deciding whether to watch Free Run in sub or dub, because I was like, okay,
Also, dubs used to come out
I
much later than subs, so if you wanted to
yeah,
watch it now, it was like sub or die.
it was very hard to keep up with the fandom. But basically my decision came down to this. I actually ended up going to a forum and seeing like what were people saying? Is there a difference between the sub or the dub? And a lot of people were recommending the dub. And the reason for this was because the dialogue is structured in a way that it feels like it came out of the medieval time period. Like the word choice is very appropriate to their setting. So one of the examples used on this forum was there's a scene where Freerin is trying to sneak off to a shop and buy stuff they don't need. In the English dub,
Me
she
buying
says,
Meshy fan.
yeah. No, Laos is a need. Don't
Okay.
don't worry. He is a need.
You're
He's a
enabling
necessity.
me.
I am enabling you because screw it. I know I'm not winning this one. Buy what makes you happy. Life's too short.
Indeed.
But indeed. But so the way the line reads in the English dub, it's
That's so cool,
oh,
Mason.
I'm off to buy trinkets and whatnot. In the Japanese version, the subtitles translate to trinkets and stuff. So it's subtle. It's not a huge change, but the difference
But I see
between
what you're saying.
stuff and whatnot sounds very appropriate to the time period. So I went off of that and I was like, okay, I'll do the dub. I'll see how they sound. And oh my God, like this dialogue is so down to earth, but also sounds so fantastical in the way they speak. Like every time these characters speak, it's with a conviction of some kind. Like they just sound so committed to their role. It's so good. It's so damn good. I'm trying to find the words to describe it. It's just like when you hear it, you think of like maybe Lord of the Rings is the closest I can come to that, where like the dialogue feels like this has a weight to it. This is in a fantasy world, but they're taking the fantasy seriously. It's not just like something to be brushed aside or like this is a serious fantasy world. Like each word has weight, and I don't know, that screams to me a level of respect for not just the source material but also for the time period they're representing. Like not to dunk on the subtitles or anything, but again, trinkets and stuff versus trinkets and whatnot. Like it's just such a different vibe. And it's such a good one. It's the dialogue that immediately transports you to that time and just helps with the immersion.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what I'm getting at. It took me a while to get there, but I got there. It really is all about that immersion. Um, but yeah, guys, so I'll let you in on a little behind the scenes secret. Ori and I try to plan out these streams by Saturday or Sunday. So she'll send me like a mock up on the schedule and like, hey, do you have a topic in mind? Well, let me tell you this. I was on a free run binge this past weekend, and I was like, I really want to talk about free runs somehow. How can I mention this but still make it relevant to the comic? Um, so yeah, that is how this happened. This is how we're talking about character histories because that's a very important part of the story and an important part of writing in general. Oh wow.
I have no idea. It's a common thing in Ace Attorney, Pastry Puff? That's weird.
I'm trying to think because it sounds vaguely familiar, like the term wild mares. Definitely not like a recent term or anything, but yeah, the only thing I could think of is like you're as wild as a mare. You're like a wild mare.
That's not something we say in English very often. We got a lot of
No,
horse
it's very
idioms,
much not.
but
I feel like that's one of those things I've read, not said or heard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, Godot would say that.
That's what he did say. That's what he kept referencing Franziska like that, which I think is also relating.
He called her a little filly or something.
He
like
also
that.
said that. He also said that. I thought
okay.
it was more of like a pun relating to that she has a whip and like, you know,
that's
you
what
use
I thought.
Crops, you know, like riding crops and stuff on horses. I thought that was like kind of like a through line they were trying to get at, but like it was just weird.
But then it just
definitely
derailed.
Stopped endearing Godot to me. He was fun, and then in this last bit, I just like we're like goodbye Godot, fuck off, no more.
Godot, go.
Yeah,
gotta go.
Nice.
I don't think it worked at all. That was a reach.
Edgeworth, who did Edgeworth say it to?
Phoenix.
I mean, obviously only if it's in the trilogy, but like what?
Wait, Edgeworth calls someone a wild mare?
Unless,
what?
Yeah, does he call somebody beside? Okay, he also tells it to Franziska. I don't feel like it's a saying thing. I think it's a Franziska thing. If it's only referring to if it's only seen in people calling Franziska that, I feel like it's like a thing they're trying to get at with like the whip.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like
the
line
seems
they're
like
trying
that's
to make.
where the connection is.
That's the vibe I keep trying to like see like coming together. But if they're referring to like other people, I don't know what the idiom would be.
I got no idea.
Yeah.
That is a unique one. Very unique indeed.
It looks like it's just Franziska, so I think it's just
I think it plays into her carrying the whip.
Yeah, I think
because that's typically associated with horseback riding, although
it is a different kind of whip, but
it's a different kind. It's definitely not your traditional like what comes to your mind.
I will say there is something
riding crop.
Yeah, exactly. There is something about imagining Franziska doing the poses she does with her whip with a riding crop instead. I will say that there is something there.
Oh, there's definitely
I didn't think about her
there.
like holding it and like, you know, like hitting the other hand with it, you know, like when she like holds the whip sometimes with the two hands. That, but with the riding crop, like, you know, I don't know. I think the problem is that it doesn't have the reach to reach like the judge or the defendant.
Well, she definitely couldn't hit Phoenix from across the room.
With a riding
That's
crop,
probably why she traded out riding crop for
she needed
a whip.
the reach.
Honestly, that would have been interesting. Like if she started out with a riding crop and then like eventually got a whip.
Hold on. Is it spoilers if I look up her younger art?
don't think so.
Because I feel
You
like
could run into that fan art
in
anytime.
passing, I feel like this, maybe I'm Mandela affecting myself, and I'm just trying to check it. But I feel like in passing, when I've briefly seen her younger
You feel like
images,
you've seen this
I feel like
before?
she has the riding crop and not a normal whip.
Could someone confirm if we're right or not?
Yeah, how about
please?
you just confirm if I'm right or not?
Because we don't want Ori accidentally spoiling herself. That's no good.
Yeah, I try to do my best.
We all
If
try.
I want to know I'm right, bitchin'! Yeah, so it's just a Francisca thing. It's just a Francisca thing.
I will say, on the topic of accidentally spoiling ourselves, Pastry Puff, I am so terribly sorry. I did not heed your warning to not go past a certain timestamp in the cutscenes.
Mars!
I left it running while I was typing. And honestly, I wasn't really paying attention, but then I got out of the zone because I was really in the zone, and then I saw the scene and I was like, oh shit's going down. And then I saw the ending and I was like, oh, okay, no wonder you wanted me to write about this, Pastry Puff.
Forget it, Mars. Wipe it from your memory. Never think about it again.
Ori, we're gonna be playing that game in 3 years. I will have absolutely no memory.
True. This is very
It's
true.
the 6th game in the series. We're gonna be playing that when we're in our 30s.
Don't say words like that, because when you say it like that, my brain is automatically like, what? That's so far away. And then you bring me back into reality, where we're gonna be playing 8th Attorney as I turn 30.
Ori?
Dylan will be 30.
Ori, you were 26.
This is pain, Mars. This is the worst.
It's
something
only
has
4
cut
years.
me. Wow, fuck you. I don't think I have been aged so rapidly by anything else than this sentence. Wow.
Yeah, okay?
What? You cut
I'm
out.
not that far behind.
No, you're only... Math. 3.
Oh, come on!
3 months behind. I had to remember math of months and then months, okay? Jesus. That wasn't an age thing. That was like how many months are August to November, okay? Jesus. Give me a second.
Yeah, that was definitely intentional, Pastry Puff. It just seemed too perfect, you know? But I gotta be honest, even if I didn't know about the game, I probably would have still written it the way I did, just because
I would
really
say the way it goes. Like, I didn't know Mars watched, how much did or didn't know about the games or whatever. I got to like have a preview read, and so we're talking about specifically the last line. Well, okay, obviously, but like I don't know what the extent ever is. I didn't know you watched a cutscene and weren't just given information. I don't know, right? Who knows?
So, it was super funny. I was actually in collaboration with Pastry Puff. I reached out to them to ask, like, hey, what are some cutscenes I could watch? What's the name of the game? I'm having trouble finding it. Because I forgot how to scroll up in our chat and check which game you told me.
Wow.
That's on me. But, hey, I'm old. I'm senile, okay?
Stop this. You need to stop.
I'm dunking on myself.
Yeah, but I'm right there. We just had this conversation.
Well, you did say you were tired, Ori. I bet you're not tired anymore.
I'm not tired anymore.
Good! I filled you with rage to keep you awake.
Spite.
Ha! Part of my plan. I don't know why I said pwa and not mwahaha. I tried. Anyway. Yeah, no, so I was talking with Pastry Puff and I reached out to them saying, like, are there some cutscenes I could watch? And they were very gracious. They provided me with a complete compilation of the 6 game cutscenes. Just the animated cutscenes, no like in-betweens or dialogues between characters, just the fully animated ones. Just because it helps me get an idea for how the characters speak, what kind of tone they'd use, what kind of word choice they make. Because I could imagine, okay, this person is very well spoken, but well spoken to me could mean something different from how they're actually portrayed in the game. Like there's specific word choice and specific grammar and sentence structure that the character uses that I might not think of. So especially if I'm trying to capture, the essence of a character, I typically want to do research into them. That's why like most of the fan fictions I do write are based on characters that I really, really like, because I've listened to their dialogue, I have internalized it, I have studied it. So I feel I can accurately represent it.
Oh yes.
That's always my goal. Accurate representation of said characters. Like even there was another commission I did not a commission, a prize from last year that I did, and it was involving
there's still commissions, I would say.
I guess technically. But that was featuring someone's original characters. And it was my first ever time writing for somebody else. It was my first time working with someone else's original characters. And like that kind of almost put the pressure on for me. Like it's really interesting writing for OCs and then writing for characters that already exist, because there's two different kinds of pressures. The pressures with writing OCs are, this person who's commissioned me has this very clear idea of what these characters are like. What they do, what they say, how they act, everything. And it is my job to capture and reflect that on paper. So that's one of those ones where it's like, you really got to collaborate with your commissionee and like kind of pick their brains a little bit. Like, how do you imagine this scene? How do you imagine that? Give me a lot of details to work with here. Whereas with pre-existing characters or writing for IPs, it's a little bit less, but then you also have the pressure of these characters are really adored by a large fandom. So like as opposed to original characters where it's only one person, now you have a whole bunch of people that are looking at what you're writing in theory. And you're like, okay, well, I have to represent these characters accurately because there are tens of thousands of people out there who know these characters inside and out. And they're watching. I watched till the end of the video, Pastry Puff. I promise I'll forget about it soon.
By time we play the games, if that is what we do,
very lovely animated cutscenes. I had no idea the Layton series had full voice acting. That I found really impressive. I started looking up some of the voice actors out of curiosity to see if I could recognize them from other projects. All I could say is they are massively talented. Like, they do a really good job. Although I gotta say, Luke's voice actor, especially when he's like startled in scenes and screaming, reminds me so much of Tails the Fox in the newer Sonic games. Like, he sounds so much like Tails, and I haven't been able to check if they're the same voice actor. But I swear I heard him scream, and I'm like, wait, Tails? Where'd you come from?
It's like being like, Randy is Sonic, and then you have a moment,
right?
and you're like, oh yeah, there it is. What?
Literally,
okay,
Randy
now
just
when
starts talking, and I'm like, wait a second, I know that voice. Not only that voice, but I know that intonation. I know that attitude. It's literally just Sonic, but ninja.
Mars, now that I know that Varian is Lucifer, there's like a few times, and I'm like, damn, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
There's like a few, it's not all the time, but there's like, in the song and stuff, there's a couple times when it's like, oh yeah, nope, there he is. There's Varian.
You know what line I hear it on? The line I hear Varian is when he goes, champagne fountains, caviar mountains. I'm like,
yes!
There he is. That
there
was so
is.
clearly Varian.
Right.
Although I gotta say, Jeremy Jordan does an amazing job with that. Like, from the big boss of hell himself. I'm like,
yep. Oh,
yes,
so
give me that growl.
It's so good.
The growl in the song is just, top tier.
And his singing is amazing. Peak.
Oh, more than
See,
anything.
that's the kind of, I want that voice. Can I have his, can I just like, thank you? I don't want to take it from him. I don't want to say I want it because like he needs it, but like, you know, like I want him to keep it because he does good shit. You know what I'm saying? But like I want it, you know?
He does so good. He's got such range. in both tone, intonation. It's incredible. It's
So
amazing
good.
how he threads that needle.
It's so good.
There's so many voice actors who do. It's like, oh, so good. So good. But yes, back to why I was originally talking about voice actors. If you do decide to watch Free Ren, I implore you, please, please, please watch the dub. You will not regret it. It's so good. Also, the animation in this series is very pretty. The way the music is done is like this very cottagecore, like walking through the forest, almost Irish folksy kind of music, like the kind you imagine when you're listening to like maybe I'm the only one who's seen Magical World of the Leprechauns, aren't I? Um,
Yeah, I don't know
damn.
that one. I'm sorry.
Okay, if you've heard any Irish instrumentals, that's what this soundtrack sounds like. It just sounds like a classic tavern, walking through the wilds. Like, oh, it's so immersive. Having the subtitles off and just being able to take it all in, honestly, it's the way to go. Like, I've been watching clips of the sub, and I'm just like, yeah, that's so different. And honestly, I like Freeren's voice better in the dub. She has like this motherly, wise beyond her years type of sound that's just so good in this setting, but also so good for her character. Oh my god, you guys, it's so good. It's so damn good.
Yeah, there's a few characters that I'm like, no, I your voice in the dub is the one.
I gotta be honest, biggest one for me with that is Billy Comments as Gallo.
Biggest one for me is probably Saitama. I don't know who the voice actor is, but the dub voice actor, I'm like, yes, I can be here and we're good. The sub voice, the original voice actor, it's just a lot goofier vibe, and it's just not how I like. I envision Saitama as being like done with life. He's just kind of done, and I feel like the dub voice actor really captures that. But the sub voice actor, they make him a lot more goofier, which is something that they could do. But I'm just like, I don't know. That's not the Saitama vibe that I'm okay with. Versus like I saw My Up Psycho in both the dub and the sub. I'm happy with all the voice actors there. Same with Spy X Family. It's all good stuff. Because I started watching it in the dub, and then we watched it together in the sub.
Yeah.
You probably couldn't get the iconic Anya dong.
No.
If we watched it in the...
What do they do in the dub
I have no
when
idea.
the dong comes up?
I only got to watch like a few episodes, so I don't
Oh,
know.
rats. I'm gonna have to look it up. They have comparisons on YouTube for just about everything. It's crazy.
All right, so character histories, Mars.
Yes, character history. So this is actually a very broad topic because character histories, I think personally, could mean a lot of things. It could relate to the character's backstory. It could relate to their connections with other characters. It could relate to how they're connected to the world around them. There are a great many directions you could go with this. But what initially sparked my interest in this was how some series build character histories and make you feel those histories. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm going to do my absolute best to explain, and I do have to use an example to do it. I apologize for the rants. I want an excuse to talk about Free Run, you guys.
Mars, I think everybody here has come for the rants at this point, so.
Yay! Well, you're in the right spot. Oh, thank you for not blaming me, Pastry Puff. That's sweet. Enjoy your story. If you think it's good enough for the AO3 Professor Layton fandom, it's up to you. But okay. So Frieren is very unique in how it sets up its characters and the way they relate to each other. because the story begins at the end of the journey. In the very first episode, we see Frieren return back to the capital with the other heroes in her party. They've essentially completed a D&D quest. They've defeated the Demon King, and now they're being welcomed back with open arms, and there's a celebration. It's a whole big thing. So we didn't see any of these people go on their journey. We're literally thrown into it at the very end. But through the episode, we see them interact with each other, and we see them kind of like poking fun and teasing. Like there's a character. He is the priest of the party, so he's in charge of all the healing and stuff. And one of his things is, because I don't want to boil it down to gimmicks, because they're honestly so much more than gimmicks, but one of his big things is that he likes drinking. Now, he's a priest, he's not supposed to do that. That's participating in sin. So everyone in the party is like, "Oh, you corrupt priest," or like he'll call them out on something and they're like, "Isn't that rich coming from you, you corrupt priest?" So it's like, even though we didn't see them for very long, like this is maybe the 5-10 minute mark of the episode, we're starting to feel that connection. We're seeing how close they are with each other because they're bickering like friends do. They're bantering, they're bouncing off one another. And this is where the premise really gets interesting, because Frieren, the character, is an elf, whereas the other two people in her party consist of humans and a dwarf. Now, elves, it's following the D&D logic. Elves live for a much, much longer time than humans do. They have much longer life expectancy. So the way Frieren kind of interacts with the world around her is that she doesn't really take the time to really get to know people or really like take in her surroundings, because whereas in a human's life, like they spent 10 years on this one adventure, like that was 10 years of their lives. Meanwhile, it was just 1/100th of her life. It was like a drop in the bucket. So they're talking like 10 years is a long time. She turns to them and she's like, "No, it isn't. What are you talking about?" It just doesn't make sense for her given the way she is as an elf. And that plays a huge role because the party ends up going their separate ways. It's essentially the epilogue of the D&D campaign. They all go their separate ways. You see one decides to stay in town, the other decides to raise an apprentice, and then they all come back 80 years later. And Frieren actually meets up with one of them again when I don't want to give too many spoilers, so I will do my best because I genuinely want people to kind of watch this. But
Mars nerfing herself.
I know, I am. Oh, speaking of nerfing, look at what you're doing with those cards. That is really interesting.
I'm attempting to make it the correct angle.
But what the hell was I saying? Okay, so there's a big point in the first episode where they're all hanging out at the celebration and there's a meteor shower going on. And they're like, "Oh, it's a shame we're in the city. We can't see it all that well. Don't worry, guys. I'll take you to the next one in 100 years. And everyone kind of looks at her like, "I don't think we'll be around for that." But then they're like, we won't mention it. Like, "Sure, we'll try. Let's make it a date." So she does come back in 8 years. She's like, "Okay, let's go see the meteor shower." But as we expect, everyone's gotten older around her. Like the young sprightly hero who was literally like kind of a teenager in the first run of the adventure, like now he's an old man. So you see how that kind of shocks her, and then they all go watch the meteor shower, and then one of the humans passes away. And this is what gets Frieren to realize, like, oh my god, I didn't know him very well. I should have made an effort to get to know him. Like, is my life just going to be watching people I love, like, leave my life? Am I going to be the only one left to remember them? So she comes to the conclusion, like, I will be. Because she lives a long time, she's going to be the only one to remember their stories and who they were. So kind of the idea is that as heroes, they get turned into legends. Like, they get romanticized, everything kind of gets exaggerated, right? But she's the only one who remembers who they really were. Like, the priest is remembered for being so devout and so brave, but she remembers him as an alcoholic. So it's kind of like remembering what their true personalities were. It's so well done. But what's so interesting about it is that there's some parallel storytelling going on. Now, you guys know how I feel about parallel storytelling. I absolutely adore it. My cat wants to leave the room. I gotta go let her out.
How dare
I could
she?
keep talking though. I know, right? In the middle of stream too.
Also, Marge,
So,
your fic, according to Pastry Puff, would fit perfectly in Azran Legacy AO3.
ooh, okay. That is
Mason
very
says
good
hi
to know.
Misty.
She says hi back. I've given her some treats to settle her. She's very happy now. Could you chew quieter, please? Thank you.
What, Mom? No.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna chow down on these treats like 5 inches from your mic. That's fine.
We can't hear it, so.
Ooh, who are you drawing, Ori?
I am drawing my version of Husker, or Husk, from Has Been Hotel, because he's the cat dude with wings. So, I feel like...
And no antennagrade legs, so Ori had to fix that.
Yeah, one, he didn't have digigrade legs. Two,
oh, digigrade, I'm sorry.
Obviously, he has very simplified wings. This is him. He's also voiced by Keith David, the voice of a lot of really epic things, but most recently King Andrius from Amphibia. But many other things. And this is him. But yeah, I felt I was kind of obligated. Hello, Winnie.
Hiya, Winnie.
I'm sad that I couldn't get his heart paw pad though in the deal, but it just the pose just didn't work for it.
Next time.
Next time. I think we're on Leo's drinking milk after that. I also want to do Lucifer eventually, but you know, because he has.
You know, chat's
too.
gonna be like, "Oh, milk, you say?"
No, don't make it weird. He canonically his favorite foods are dairy, cow, in parentheses, specifically. So he need my boy, he's up there with my boy Mob and their fucking love for milk. And here we are, all chowing down on some nice
If only
glasses
Leos was a
milk.
psychic, I could do a crossover fic between him, Psyche, and Mob.
Psyche's thing is the coffee dessert.
The coffee jelly, yes.
Yes, the
That's
coffee
dairy. That's dairy.
Is it?
I thought so. Does coffee jelly have caffeine? I think that went without saying.
Top tier, Mason. I love it. I always feel so bad for Mars.
No, it's a vegan dessert.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, no dairy.
I always feel so bad for Mars that she has to go out of her way to consume dairy.
I take pills and it allows me to consume dairy.
I think I would literally die.
But okay, so what do all these long ramblings about the connections and episode 1 of Frieren really connect to? Well, it surprised me how quickly I was endeared and attached to these characters. Like, even though we didn't see too much of them interacting, it was literally only 5 to 10 minutes. But through those 5 to 10 minutes, you feel the history that they went through. Oh yeah, Enthuse, it's all in episode 1. You see the end of the adventure, the resolution to meet together again in 80 years, and then the return, the visit to the meteorite field, the final
fucking
adventure,
death.
and then the death, and then Freerin resolving to get to know the people in her life better. That is all in episode 1.
That's honestly nuts.
And it's paced so well that it doesn't feel fast at all.
Damn.
It feels so much like a natural progression, and it kind of almost brings you into Freerin's
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Because there are many episodes where multiple years pass in a single episode. There's another episode where she meets with the priest again and finds he has a little girl, and she stays with them for a couple of years to help train her to be a mage. And literally, it's all done in that single episode, but it never feels rushed, and it never feels like something was missed. And what's really unique about this series is that Freerin ends up traveling with new companions that mirror her old party. So she's literally going on a journey that's tracing the path of the one she took 80 years ago with people who are echoes of the one she traveled with 80 years ago. So like they'll come across something where, like, let's say, for example, one of the characters, as they're passing through the town, mentions, oh, this is the town that houses the hero sword. Did you know that? And she's like, ah, yes, the famous hero sword. So-and-so tried pulling that 80 years ago. And then we flash back to see, like, how that went. And that's one of the advantages that Freerin has, is that we're introduced to all these characters at the end of their journey. And then through these parallel flashbacks, or these flashbacks that run parallel to the main adventure, we get even more of that connection. Like now we felt that history before, we felt that connection before, now we get to see it. And I find it so fascinating that they somehow found a way to make you feel 10 years of history between characters in the span of 5 minutes. Now, how can I relate this to Outcast?
Oh,
well,
we know how.
I can certainly try. Because I tried to accomplish something very similar when we were introduced to the crew, particularly Milano and Ferrix. One of the ways Freerin shows that the characters have a very close connection is that they tease each other. Like this is a very common thing amongst friends. Ori literally told me "fuck you" earlier in stream tonight. Like this is just how friends
And I
talk.
meant
they
it.
each other, they banter. I know. But that's one of the hallmarks that shows like, hey, this person has a connection with this other one, because you don't say that to people you're just acquaintances with or strangers. It's a very unique
Speak for yourself.
interaction. Well, I can't speak for everyone, but typically that's how you telegraph that. And that is essentially what I attempted to do with Milano and Ferrix's banter in the episode that Ferrix is introducing, because they're ragging on each other for like, oh, I'm the tall one. Well, I'm the older one. Like they're fighting like siblings. So that's already referencing a familial bond. You can tell these are two people that are close and have gotten along and been with each other for a long time. And then continuing like in the campfire scene, you have Aster fixing Sinnott and Milano with a glare when they're teasing Ferrix. Again, more of the teasing, but only someone who knows these characters, like, could a stare be effective,
Or tell
them
to go to bed.
I know you so well that I know a stare will shut you up and get you to stop teasing the poor tired boy.
You know what the stare backs up at this point.
Exactly. But yeah, I it honestly blew me away. Like watching those episodes, I was just like, man, I am so endeared to these characters, and I've only known them for one episode. That is insane. I'm trying to think of another series or work that has done that before. You know, cuz very typically, especially in the hero's journey, you meet characters along the way. Now don't get me wrong, that very much happens in this series. That's how she finds all these party members that are reminiscent of the ones she knew before. But even with that, there's a twist on the hero's journey. It's essentially a second hero's journey on top of the other one, which I don't know. Has anyone else like read, watched, seen anything like that? Because like a lot of stories start with like here's our protagonist. Here's something that went wrong, or something they have to fix, or some kind of goal that they have to reach. And as they're reaching that goal, they meet characters, they come together, they and they like power through. But I don't know, this one is just so unique in my opinion.
There's a Professor Layton movie? Damn.
Oh, I don't doubt that. Is it an anime, Pastry Puff?
I'm sorry. I would love to see Professor Layton himself in like a much more anime style. It's such like a simple art style that it's like really like I can't even imagine. Like I can't imagine myself trying to draw Professor Layton.
I will say this, Ori. One of the cutscenes I had to watch over and over, just to like kind of nail down an idea for the interactions. Pastry Puff, for your knowledge, it was what I am lovingly referring to as the "Welcome to London" scene. But there are some background characters in that cutscene, and I'm looking at the proportions of them, and I'm just like, oh wow. That was wild. Those were some One Piece proportions.
Ah, yes.
But and guys, if you would like to interrupt my rant at any point, and ask questions about like making character histories, how to make it feel like characters have a history together.
Oh, that is Pastry Puff is talking about Professor Layton games the Professor Layton movie doing so, because they obviously can't go through all of the games.
Ah, yes. And that's a big ask for a lot of movies to do. I find it impressive when they could pull that off, because they only have so much time to.
It seems like they did pull it off. The first cutscene involves Layton and Luke solving a puzzle, which involves with their current mystery, and it shows Layton and Luke's dialogue, and it establishes their dynamic in almost 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes.
That's awesome. I'd say another very good example is I'd call this the one moment I do like from the new Star Wars movies. It's when Luke and Leia meet up again, and you just like you feel everything in that moment.
Enthuse is saying that they feel like Outcast has a lot of parallels to JoJo Part 5 in the Vento Oreo.
Oh, I won't deny that at all.
The main character is a large group already bonded.
So, Enthuse, I can't say that that was a specific inspiration for Outcast, but I definitely watched Vento Oreo before writing Outcast.
There is significantly less fighting.
Like that idea. Well, for now.
I think overall,
I haven't gotten a chance to write it yet.
God, I will admit I'm a little intimidated by eventually having to do like super actiony
the fight scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, for the time being, you could just do like close-ups of teeth and everything. That
works. I will say, I'm pretty happy with all of my Ferrex parkour, so I think that I can do it okay.
The Ferrex parkour is really good practice because he mostly fights that way.
Yeah.
He's the kid jumping around going, parkour, parkour, parkour.
I need the color palette.
Oh, I would love that pastry puff. I'd love to see it. It's one of the things about being a creator of anything, you have to be an enjoyer of the medium first. That's one of the biggest things, right? Like if you're a writer, you have to love reading. If you're an animator, you have to love animation. One thing precedes the next.
Indeed.
Yeah, take as much time as you need, pastry puff. No rush.
We're just chilling, vibing.
But yeah, it's Mafia AU. That would be pretty cool.
Oh, I can't.
Sorry, Ori.
It's not a bad noise. It's like a, oh no, I like that.
Well, Enthuse, we can't put them in all black. You know, Mafia suits have
I will also
some pretty
say
good designs
their
to
color
them.
palettes are like important in a 5-man band kind of way. So, you know.
Oh yeah.
They can't just
They would keep their colors.
they would have to have like something neat.
Kind of like how Fugo is the green one.
Does it look like Mariana? I don't know.
Abakio is the purple one.
Maybe it's the colors.
He does kind of look like Mighty Anna.
Well,
Not
yeah,
in a bad
color-
way. Mighty Anna is awesome.
No. I'm back on like Mafia and colors stuff. And like the like colors do play a lot in Outcast. Not in like not so incredible like yellow means XYZ.
Not in like a symbolism way. More
sort of
so in a if you see this color, this character is around.
Yeah, it's I really enjoyed that. About Voltron, and it happens a lot just because it's also in High School Host Club. It just gives you a
definitely.
way to denote the character. But you also see it in Fairly Odd Parents. It just gives you a way to denote the characters as their thing and sort of give hints and subtle clues and stuff instead of a whole thing. But I didn't pick specific meaning because since I knew I was basing all of their color palettes, for the collars off of the animal that they are, that it had to go well with whatever animal they were. And so that took priority over like color meaning, right? Color theory took priority. And that sort of thing. We actually, Mars and I, we picked the animals we have sort of like a side character crew kind of like spin-off thing.
A secondary pirate group.
It's a secondary pirate
that
crew.
Milano and crew will encounter and will play an important role in the story.
Oh yes. But we finally we had the main captain's animal nailed down for a long time. But we finally picked the rest of the crew because we had a parallel storytelling vibes going on. And
yeah, very much so.
And it was important to me that all of the animals had a color in them already instead of being just making their outfit something afterwards like I did with the Outcast characters. The Outcast character the main callers, their animal came first and then their design came second versus their colors were secondary versus with these characters their animals also have come first, but I knew that we already had colors for the main characters, so I wanted to be able to base it more in their animals' colors and have their clothes kind of toned down in color versus how our main pirate boys have their animal colors are honestly mostly on the neutrals side, with Milano being the most colorful. With a dark blue, and then having the clothes do the colorful work. They are a bit ways away, Pastry Puff. We are ahead of ourselves a little bit. Mars is finally writing.
We are very ahead of ourselves. I finally got around
7.
to scripting, you guys.
Yeah, she's back to
so
scripting.
Happy. God, it felt so good to just write something today. Like pastry puff, I am so happy with the prompt you gave me. It just once I was going, and once I did that, I was like, I can script now for the series. This helped the creative juices flow. Which is nice.
Why is this
It's nice
color
to know I
crazy?
still have creativity in me.
This is almost like Cynic colors. Why is this
Oh.
specific hex code crazy, Enthuse? I'm looking at it.
No, it's not crazy. It's going to make you crazy. Like, you'll go crazy when you see it.
I'm not, though. It's pretty chill.
Well, sorry to
no.
disappoint, Enthuse.
It's called Blonde Lace, apparently.
Oh. That's interesting. I've never heard of that.
Honestly, the only colors I really dislike are like the middle
Puke green.
the middle
yellow.
between like yellow and green, like the immediate right basic there, and then lowering the saturation. It's just gross that I dislike. I just don't like. There's very little use for it as well. I find there's very little things that like are that color.
Unless you're drawing a pile of puke or urine, you don't need to use that color.
Yeah. So, no. But yeah, when you look, I mean, you can even look. I can't show you that one. I can show you these other ones though. When you look at like the color, this is better if I go this way. If you look at like the color palette of the characters, right, it's a lot of browns, different browns, but a lot of browns. You know, Milano's got the most color probably out of the colors, just because he's got the red
has the most
to highlight
varied,
the blue,
he's got
but he's
the
also
red,
like the
green,
captain,
the black.
so it's important. Oh, it's wild that I could identify that as Cynic. Yeah, dude, I know my freaking boys' color palettes.
Ori
okay,
knows her boys.
Yeah, I was like, that's Cynic color. I know Cynic color.
I
will also say,
for a very long time.
I don't know how like real this is, but there's like a thing, and it's like about like being able to see more colors than the average human. Is like a thing that some people have.
Oh, I feel like you have that.
Nearly definitely have that. Yeah,
you definitely do.
Okay.
You have called me out for calling colors the wrong thing, and I'm like, I'll take your word for it.
Because people will say they're the same, and they're not the same. Okay, they're not the same. I have this beautiful story. I love Copic markers. Nearly every digital artist has like an art marker phase, because that's like the closest you can get to like digital art vibes in like IRL vibes, right? In traditional art vibes. And so I have every color of Copic marker. And a lot of them, the caps do look similar, okay? I can tell they're different. They are different. They're also like chemically different. Like that's how it works. But when you swatch them, I'm like, oh yeah, immediately. These are two very different colors. Dylan over there is like, Ori, those are the same color. I'm like, no, this one's lighter, this is darker, this one has pinker hues, this one, you know, whatever. And it was like, no, those are the same colors. And I'm like, no, they're not, Dylan. What do you mean? So, yeah.
Ori's calling us all out.
I am
here.
certainly sensitive on that side, which is funny, but I think it also makes like color theory come easier to me in like an innate way, because I never like, every once in a while I go down a mild rabbit hole of like color theory related things, and like I get like a base idea of stuff, but 99% of like my character design is vibes alone. Like same with like interior design, vibes alone. But everyone, you know, my interior design has been complimented by many a person, and yeah, my mom will come to me, she'll be like, Ori, is like here's a black shirt and here's a black pants, are they the same black? And I'll be like, no. Or she'll be like, is this what, like, is one of them navy blue? And I'll be like, yeah. Navy blue. And I'm like, Mom, I'm sorry, you can't wear those two pinks together because they're just slightly not the right pink, and it makes it look weird. You know, when they're like drastically different pinks, it's okay. But if it's like
Well, because then there's
mildly,
enough
it's
of
like,
a
ooh.
difference.
Well, it goes from being like, this is a purposeful, they're two different colors, to this is an accidental, they were meant to be the same color and I had bad lighting. You know, like, there's a difference. There's a difference there.
I love how you throw in the, and I had bad lighting. It is my fault.
I bet you could give me a hex code in Thews and I would know which color it came from.
Try it, Enthuse. Play the game.
I mean, we already did it with Sinnet. I already knew it was Sinnet. There's a couple, see, and it's really funny. There's a couple, like, colors where I would say, like, these are very similar, and then I, like, see them next to each other, and I'm like, oh no, those are very different. Like, I would have been like, oh, like, Aster's brown and Ferrex's brown are, like, kind of the same. They're not. They're not the same. I guess you did do that. I was going to play a longer game, but, you know. I gotta show off sometimes.
It's story time. Yeah, what else are you gonna do with this knowledge? Maybe it'll be a Jeopardy question?
Discord gets angry at you for trying to post 2-minute-long videos to chats.
Oh, that's annoying.
It's like too large or something else. Because Discord has, like, thankfully slightly lessened their, like, size limits, but it's still pretty. Yay. That's a funny hex code. Let's take a look.
The reveal.
That's a white. And there's only 2 characters that really have a white, but I will say it looks like
I'm between Sinnet or Aster.
It's definitely Sinnet or Aster. I would have to say it's Sinnet's white again. It says it's too much data. Yeah, I think it's a size thing, Pastry Puff. That looks like
sometimes
white.
Discord is funny about that.
I think Aster's white is browner. Yeah. Aster's white is whiter. Yeah, it is another Sinnet. Woo! Look at me go.
Nice.
What picture of Sinnet you got?
E-A.
It's also really funny if you're color
Well, that's an easy one
when
to
you're
remember.
color picking off of any like comic or like more recent art that I have. There's a lot more lighting variation that goes into it, so they could actually be the wrong base colors, if that makes sense. But if you're doing it from the of course the flat like reference image, those are specifically the like true colors, if that makes any sense.
Well, because you don't have the lighting and the shading, so you just
Yeah,
get
exactly.
the straight up color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even like a thing I did, you know, that like added to my like I took like a comic online course when we like started really being serious about Outcast, and that taught me like this cool technique about like bringing the character into the scene, right, to make it seem like they're actually in the environment instead of just being like on the environment. And so that really does change a lot of the base colors, especially in like the golden hour colors I love doing. Oh my god, I gotta tell you guys, I know Enthuse is part of the Ko-fi. Thursday, we're starting like a long line of being I'm like holding back from wanting to post them all at once because I'm very, very happy. And Ori did color theory on those actually, which is kind of nuts.
Ori did an amazing job.
They're really good. And that's, you know, tooting my own horn, but whew.
Ori's honing her skills, and she should be very proud of herself.
Slowly but surely, yes. It's also sometimes, you know, obviously there is like corner cutting for the comic just because like time.
Oh yeah, it happens.
We got another one? All right, we got another one.
Oh, okay.
See, it's a fun game.
Now, Ori, I was curious, did you have any questions or anything specific you wanted to know about character histories? Or if anyone in chat did. Because like I said, there are a million ways you
I
can
will
go
say,
with this.
You did talk about
I feel like if you guys
specifically
pick a direction, I can find something to tell you.
You did specifically talk about mainly in this sort of like having a history with each other, being friendly, right? Being on
Mm.
good terms, being positive. Now, obviously, you can say very easily, like, being angry at each other or like at each other's throats right away can show like a history of a negative history. Words are not forming right.
Animosity.
Thank you, animosity. That's the word I want. But what are maybe some more like subtler ways where you can show a sort of, I don't like this person, we have a bad past, but I'm kind of like, I know that we have to be in the same room right now, so I'm just gonna deal with it. You know, like sort of more like because I feel like that happens a lot more in real life, right?
That's a very interesting case. Oh, absolutely. I feel like that can be an unfortunate part of life. Sometimes you gotta push through and deal. Mm-hmm. But no, that's a very interesting question, because you're right. There are plenty of. Oh, wait. Solve Enthus's riddle first.
Yes, Enthus is the first one. 766. I'm gonna say that's Aster.
That's a gray, right?
It's like a brown.
Well, I was way off.
And then this is like a red, but it's definitely not Milano's red. Who has red?
Could it be
that
his
looks like
armbands? Oh, no, wait. It could be.
I think the 766
could it be
was
Sinet's
Aster's,
pouch?
Aster's vest. Sinet's, no, it would, you mean Ferrex's pouch. It's not red enough for that. This red looks more like because it's like a muddied red. It's definitely not a Milano red.
That would not be a Milano red, no.
It's a very like kind of brown red, but it's not purpley enough, bright enough brown red to be the leather of Ferrex's pouches. And I'm trying to just like recall who has like reds like this. I feel like this is Sinet again. The second
I feel
one.
like it's Sinet too.
7030 feels like Sinet again.
Yeah. This is like taking a test where it's like, wait, why are all the answers C?
Yeah, really though.
Shouldn't I have gotten an A?
Exactly. But,
or a
continue,
B?
Mars.
Yes. No, I think that's really interesting. You mentioned. What I've seen a lot of writers do, it's a very quick way to show that characters have animosity, just that immediate anger or that that clenched fist or lashing out. Like those are very and perfectly good ways of showing.
You are tricky, Enthus.
Ooh.
Are they mouth colors? I don't know the mouth colors very well.
Tricky.
Mouth
the mouth colors
are
actually
new.
got recently updated.
Yeah.
We're not too familiar.
First was Milano's pants. Second was at Ferrex's back? Oh.
Ha!
Maybe my monitor is weird. I've had that sometimes.
Damn! I'm proud of myself.
And Mars didn't even see the color. Mars just heard the color.
I just heard reddish brown and I was like, oh, those are someone's straps.
Yes, it is. Ferrex has reddish. It's also it's not exactly the same. It's a very similar sort of basically they're both like a leather, so it's very similar to the leather binding of Hodson's journal. Ferrex's pouches.
Nice.
You got me, Enthus.
Yes. You've bested Ori. Congratulations.
We have something from Pastry Puff.
Ooh.
It's 3 so far.
Oh, parallel backstories. Love it already.
You're so good.
Yeah, Pastry Puff, that is a very I'll pull a very well-known example. Aang and Zuko. Like you have that whole parallel with that whole episode, The Storm, and just showing like how our hero and our antagonist are similar and how they're different. That is always a very effective way of storytelling, especially if you're trying to elicit sympathy for your antagonist character and show the different connections.
It can also be a very common like superhero villain trope that happens.
Oh,
Where
definitely.
it's
Batman
like,
Joker is the first one
yeah,
that comes
where
to
it's like
mind.
the same circumstances sort of shaped two very different people, right? And
Yeah.
sort of having that sort of emotional, like, internal angst
Damage.
of like, well, of like shit, this could have been me, you know,
Mm.
I'm one step away, like I was one step away from being this person, but if I didn't have like, you know, in Batman's case, it's mostly like, God, I'm blanking on the butler's name right now.
Alfred.
Yeah, Alfred. Like, honestly, like, Alfred, if it wasn't for Alfred, man.
Alfred kept
Whoo!
Batman sane.
he was his dad in the end, you know, and mom, basically. You know, it was just like, without Alfred, I don't know, you know. But the point is that, like, yeah, that's a very
Yeah, no,
common one
that's
there.
exactly it, Pastry Puff. And it's like it's blurring our lines. Like we see our hero being selfish and we see our antagonist being selfless. It starts blurring the lines and showing not everything is so black and white. But yeah, so I've been taking a while to get to this. To answer your question, Ori, I personally like more subtle angles.
Yeah, I think they're more
with
realistic sometimes.
showing animosity between characters. Like I'll typically go for like a clenching of teeth, a grimace, maybe a quick eye dart or an eye roll. I personally like those more because they suggest that there's some anger there. Like it's not like outright anger. They're not like lashing out or yelling or screaming like, "Oh my god, I hate this person," or "Oh my god, I hate you." But it's
Ranting and
still
raving.
like, "Oh, this person's like." Ironically enough, that's kind of what I do with Ferrex and Hotson.
Yes.
Like we all know, Ferrex is not a Hotson stan at all at this point in the story. And we see that. We see Ferrex like snarl. We see him grimace. We see him eye roll. And then dialogue wise, which is mainly my department, we see him being very antagonistic in his words, like, "Oh yeah, we picked a job that's so easy for you. It's impossible to screw it up." Like, these are not nice words. These are not nice tones. These are very condescending, very nasty, very like, I'm going to one up you and put you in your place.
I will
Tones
also
that he's
say,
using.
there's a lot of sort
However,
of,
it is different because that's not a history there. That's just showing
yeah.
how Ferrex feels about the current
Well,
situation.
well, it's not
But
a
I
history
still think you
between the
can do
characters,
that
but
to
it's a
show a
history of
history.
Ferrex's character.
It is a
It
history
shows
of Ferrex's
Ferrex's
character,
history.
yes.
Yeah.
Because it's not showing like, oh, Ferrex has animosity towards humans. No, 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 no. He's angry that someone has come to the island unannounced and is being nasty to his friends.
Yeah. Oh my! I just
So now
went
he's
back and
standing
like
up for his friends.
put in the dialogue for a bunch more of Ferrex's hangout, and it's so good going through it again. But it sort of
I'm so glad
reminded
you
me,
like it.
Mars, that you know, bringing up and tying it to the Ferrex hangout is that a lot of sort of play in the composition, honestly, in kind of like an innate way in my brain sort of happened, right? But it's there when you look at it. And it was one purposeful. I did play a lot with the lighting. There's a lot of lighting moments that sort of add to the effect of how the two characters feel about each other. But the other thing that allowed a lot for that sort of lighting to be because of their positioning is that for the vast majority of the hangout, Ferrex is physically higher than Hudson is. He's taller. He's on the raised platform. He is, you know, looming in a way constantly. He even does that in his first sort of meet with Hotson. He's looming. Oh, yeah. It sort of gives this vibe of, you know,
you are
antagonism.
beneath me.
You're beneath me. I don't like you. You know, like this is sort of like all just said in sort of how they're positioned over themselves. And so that's when, as the the sort of hangout progresses and we get sort of, what happens later on. I don't want to spoil because good shit. But you can see how the levels and the lighting and the everything sort of changes to
And
fit the mood.
That's absolutely something you can use to your advantage. Body language, the way the characters are positioned, the way they stand. If somebody faces someone and they have a closed posture, like maybe their arms are crossed or they're sitting hands on their hips, that's going to portray something very different from an open posture, like hands at their side or open for like ready to receive a hug. Like it's an incredibly different meaning behind those actions. Definitely use it to your advantage in your stories. You can do a lot with an eye roll, a glare, a smirk. That's usually my go-to.
I would also say the environment helps a lot as well towards the dynamic. You have in Aster's hangout, Hotson is in a not new nor not comfortable environment, but he could get away if he needed to. Right, he's on the ground. He's chilling.
He's walked through the forest before,
so
there's a little familiarity.
Which he likes.
He's surrounded by the trees,
but
and
he's not
he
stuck.
could walk away if he wanted to.
Now, even
With
though
it's a very casual hangout. They're in a nice place. They're in a garden. Hotson feels
even though he's kind of
almost
stuck
at
a little
home
bit,
here.
Yeah, exactly. It's an environment that overall is like his favorite.
It's a welcoming environment.
And everything.
But it's not only a welcoming environment setting wise, it's welcoming because Sinnit makes it welcoming. Like, come with me, make sure you eat some breakfast before you come. We're gonna work together. This is gonna be great. Like Sinnit has made it so this is a very comfortable place for Hotson to be. Whereas with Ferrix, he comes barging in, he's immediately guns a-blazing.
One day.
And now Hotson is stuck on the boat fixing it.
Yeah, in the middle of the water.
He can't get away. He can't row.
Swim, but still, it's not a desirable outcome,
He
Who knows how well Ferrix swims, right? You want to get wet in all your coats and his journal and like all the other stuff? What? He's just gonna go back to the.
That coat would probably drag Hotson to the bottom. There's also another reason you really don't want to go in the water too much.
Well, the rot doesn't affect living things as much, but
that is true.
It's more of just like you're definitely a lot more trapped being on a boat in the middle of water, whether you can swim or not, than being on land on an island, right?
Oh yeah.
One is you could run away and still live. You have to go back to the island if you jump in the water. Yes, Pastry Puff, I don't think it's really a secret. The water has, to the callers and the people of the world of Outcasts, a relatively unknown phenomena that is just kind of referred to as the rot. And basically it's like a combination of just like the water not being, perfectly pH neutral or anything, it is salt water, but it also has like microorganisms in it and things that just really make accelerated decay of non-living materials, like mostly wood, mostly wood, fabric, these sort of like organic but plant related
it's
materials.
Breaking down the composition of these objects.
Just very quickly. And, I'd probably say it eats a lot of lignin, it eats a lot of cellulose. That's just kind of how it is. And though the world and the area that they live in, you'll get more lore about it, is obviously very seafaring, and this ties into a lot of sort of like dynamics that we'll get into a little more.
A ton. The rot actually sets a lot in motion.
It sets a lot of motion. It set a lot of like social, I don't even like social
commentary.
Sort of, not necessarily commentary, but just like where the
dynamics?
People in the world, dynamics.
There you go.
I don't know what the rot specifically is. Not really talk about anything, but the idea of just like how it affects the world and everything. Yeah. So that's why the fixing of those has to happen, and fairly often.
Mhm.
And it sort of just adds to that, like, when you talk about pirates, right? It was more expensive to be a pirate because you could not fix your boat at the normal docks, right? At the normal shipwrights. You had to bring it to a crooked shipwright where they're obviously like, haha, you're like, I'm like the only one you can bring this to. I'm gonna charge you exorbitant fees. So now think about that, and then on top of that, just the fact of using a boat is eventually going to decay, rather rapidly, no matter what you do. That just sort of adds to the whole thing. Another reason why Ferrex being the carpenter and having the skill set that he does is very important as well, and having the natural resources that they do on the island in a way where they can, fix it up themselves for a rather cheap price. It just, it ties into how the callers interact with, the other caller pirates, and
Milano's
going
crew
to
is
port.
probably the luckier of the pirate
yeah.
callers.
Definitely.
Because not everyone is blessed enough to have a Ferrex on their side.
And like a pretty good source of lumber.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that the island provides.
Well, you did it, Pastry Puff. Yes, character histories, PCM. That's another interesting place to talk about it, though, Mars, is in relation to like RPG characters, because you can have sort of the dynamic of you guys are all meeting for the first time, you the players don't know each other's characters, and each other's characters don't know the other characters. But you can also have, like I was like best friends with one of my with one of the other players as characters. So we like didn't want to be separated and these sort of things. You could have, like, Dylan and I were thinking about doing sort of I was like a foretold, prophesized hero that was like stuck petrified in stone for like 1,000 years. So I'm really fucking rusty. But this person is the person who, like, Dylan's character is the one who like freed me. And so now we're like banded together, but they know more about like the current world than I would. And I'm like, oh yes, we still write on stone tablets or something. I'm like, no, we have paper now, or and so having those things as being histories, and I think that's an interesting difference between Freerin and Dungeon Meshi. To bring it to another one, is that Dungeon Meshi, while you immediately get the vibe that the characters at least know of each other to a certain extent before meeting, besides Senshi, obviously, who joins during episode 1,
yes,
you also slowly throughout the story realize that they really don't know that much about each other. They were kind of like work friends, and now they're put in this situation where they're spending a lot of time together just kind of chilling to a certain extent,
yeah,
and having personal interactions like and so it's very interesting. This isn't really spoilers, but like they didn't know Chilchuck's real age until he finally said it, and that's like a whole thing. However, they've been adventuring together for like 2 years
about it.
So
he was so secretive. He kept secrets all the time.
There's this thin, flexible slab of stone, yes. Why have you sliced a tree into thin pieces? Wouldn't that rot? Stone lasts forever.
How did you get back in my room? The door was closed.
Secrets.
When did that happen?
The window, the ceiling, the spider told her.
She must have.
The spider told her where to go.
I have no idea how she got back in my room. I definitely closed the door. The amazing teleporting cat, everyone.
Yes, clap for Misty. She's misty, so she's full of mist.
She must have phased through the door with her misty powers.
I love how
powers.
I drew Husk, and I just didn't give him pants because he has the digigrid legs, and I drew them really nice. So I wanted to show them off. Exactly. No, he doesn't need pants.
He doesn't need them. Who needs pants? It's fine.
100%.
But yeah, no, that's a really good point, Ori, because with Dungeon Meshi, it's a completely different vibe. Like now you get to see them connect even further, and that goes to kind of
Ask your question,
strengthen
Deuce.
the themes of the story in that food brings people together.
Oh,
Now that they've
yes!
started sharing with each other
Ugh.
and experiencing the cooking, like they're not just eating the pre-made rations, they're actually working together. They're
So
working to
good.
catch these creatures. They're making the meal together. They're sharing it together. Now they're able to talk a bit more
Ugh.
because they're sharing more with each other. It really, I mean, Ori, you're the first to know this. You know the series longer than I have, but it really does serve the themes of the story, or
Oh,
one
it's
of
so
the
good.
themes, I should say.
It's so
Because Dungeon
good.
Meshi's got a lot going on for it.
The food is way more important than you think it is in the first place, and it's so good. Oh, okay. It comes back like 8 different times.
Very important
It's
to
so
the themes
good.
of the story.
It's so good.
It's crazy.
It's so good. It's nuts. Oh my god. But yes, Enthuse, I would love to hear your question.
Ori has
about
her
canon.
fantasy that has an elf in it to rant about, and I have my fantasy with an elf in it to rant about.
Is Hotsid shipwrecked or marooned? Now let me make sure marooned is the word that I think it is.
Marooned is probably the word you think it is. Marooned
just make
is
sure.
when someone is abandoned by their
Yes.
crew
Okay.
on an island
So
to fend for themselves.
Neither. Hotsid is
Yeah.
neither shipwrecked nor marooned.
Neither shipwrecked nor marooned. He said it. Did he say it in the first? Yeah, he said it in the first, didn't he? No, he didn't. We took that out.
Well, Enthuse is specifically asking about the original first entry that I have put up on the Ko-fi.
He is stranded officially.
Yes, he is stranded. That is the word we are using.
We were very specific in our word choice,
Yes.
and there is a reason
I
for
won't
that.
describe any more about that.
Because that is massive spoilers.
But he is specifically stranded. He wasn't left by a crew. He specifically says to Mulatto, kind of ashamedly, that he didn't have a crew because he's a bit of an idiot. He's an excitable idiot.
I will say this, in the original draft of that, he went, wait, friends? I don't have any friends either.
Yes.
This was clearly before we went for the more serious
It was a lot
approach.
more comedic.
It was so much more comedic. Holy shit.
Well, that
like
one goes up
One
today.
Punch Man
One of
meets
them went
Mob Psycho, which was nuts.
One of them went up today that has that line in it. You might have an addiction? You have a WoW addiction. Ooh. I only briefly played WoW very early in my relationship, and I spent a lot of time fishing. I like the hunter-gatherer aspect of shit, okay? I like the, foraging and everything of games, okay? That's why I don't beat Breath of the Wild, because I just sit there and I, collect apples and bugs and shit.
I beat Breath of the Wild,
yes, very
and
nice.
It was so satisfying. Gotta say, the final fight was really fun. And I started Tears of the Kingdom, but holy shit, guys, let me tell ya, to go from 18 heart beefed up Link.
Yeah, it hurts, don't it?
Nothing. I was like, oh my fuck, I'm so nerfed.
Yeah, oof.
What happened?
No Master Sword. Things break again.
I was like, what the hell? No, this was the funniest thing. So, not a spoiler, Ori, but
yeah,
when you open up Tears of the Kingdom, you end up in the sky and you have to hop between the different islands. Now, they're pretty close to each other. If you had a glider, you could probably make it. I forgot and kept forgetting
that you didn't have a glider.
No longer had my glider.
Oh my god!
Because as soon as I beat Breath of the Wild, I immediately started playing Tears of the Kingdom. Because
your first mistake.
I wanted to get it in. I had the TV last night. You know how rare that is. I had the TV. I had to take advantage.
So to answer your question, Enthuse, Hotsin made it to shore like a normal person does. he took the rowboat. He got there. Everything is good. Everything is great. He's chilling. And then
Everything
he looks,
is awesome.
and it's not there anymore. There's no boat.
And then the boat went
no
bye-bye.
There's no nothing. So he sees it leaving him over the horizon.
It's
So,
drifting into
in
the
his
distance.
Panic, he runs into the water. Obviously not really thinking very well. And that is how he gets wet. This is Oscar.
He tried to chase after it, and it did not work.
Basically, that's why he is wet. And that's why I don't want it to be he can swim. Okay, he's not he knows how to swim. That is relatively important. But yeah, that's why, and that's why he's soaking wet.
He definitely couldn't catch up with a boat being pulled out by the tide.
It's very meant to be he's really not thinking, he's in panic mode. Oh my god, my ship is gone, let me get it.
You
and
know
then
what
getting
it is?
into the water.
It's when you're walking to your bus stop and you see the bus there and it's closing the doors.
Yeah,
and then
you
break
run,
into a mad
but they
run.
don't stop, and you can't catch a bus.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
And the bus driver saw me and actually stopped and opened the doors. I sped onto that shit so fast.
Every once in a while they're nice. But it's more the fact that you're not running to catch the bus in
it's
a
more
physical
so you're
sense.
running because, oh my god, if I don't get the bus, my parents will have to drive me and they're going to be pissed off.
Yeah, pastry puff, yes.
Yes, the anchor comment from Milano
That's why he was
very true.
Pissed off. A little upset that he got kind of called out.
The idea was always he was sailing for days on end. He didn't really see anything, and he was starting to think, what was the point of this trip? I'm a failure. I haven't found anything. And then he sees this island, and he's like, finally, something I can work with. So when he gets ashore,
well,
why would he tie up the anchor?
Well, Enthuse, if you do look at the first one, there is 3 specific panels of him doing some sort of action. So,
he's doing something.
Limerana's appears on chat. Oh, yeah.
Guys, in the last 2 hours, I have done 2 panels.
Look at Mars go, guys.
I know, right? I'm speedy.
Okay, I think I'm going to make his whole hand the black and then just leave his claws white.
Ooh. Very nice.
So again, we're talking my style. I also in my heart want to draw Alistair, but he's lower on the list solely because design-wise he doesn't have my favorite aspects. Lucifer's higher solely because he has fucking 6 angel wings, and so
that's the good shit.
That's the shit.
But so Ori, I hope I answered your question about how to show an antagonistic history between 2 characters. Personally, I feel subtle is the way to go. Another way you could do it, although this is incredibly obvious, and I feel like this falls into comic booky territory. Something I've seen a lot of writers and authors employ is the reminiscent technique, where they're PCM. How long has it been since we last crossed each other's paths? And then they just kind of banter back and forth, and that becomes part of the banter. The history between them is the banter. And that's definitely an approach. I feel
it depends on your vibe of the story. And the characters
very heavily on the genre.
I can see 2 of our characters
a lot of it is informed
doing that.
by personality.
I could see 2 of our characters doing that.
I could see 2 of our characters doing that as well.
Yeah, but only specifically 2 of them.
I can see one of them being today's the day I finally turn you in.
Yes. And the other's you've been trying that for X amount of years.
No, literally, that was going to be the dialogue.
Yeah, see? Very good night, Mason. Thank you for hanging out.
Night, Mason.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I could
no,
definitely see
not
two characters
hiccups.
having that. But it's solely driven specifically by one of the characters' personalities being one sort of way and the other one being angry at him about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, that's where the funny dynamic comes in, is that one treats it like a joke and the other is like, no, I'm totally serious. Your hands up.
Exactly.
It's like, right,
Hello.
sure. Hiya, Nicole. Hope you're having a good one.
Yes.
Okay, what on earth is happening with
We're
this
just
line?
chilling at this point, kind of talking about histories, not talking, talking about lots of stuff. Talking about Outcast and
Gotta be honest, talking about character histories was just an excuse for me to talk about one of my favorite aspects of free rent.
I am certainly not against this fact in any way.
There are other fun aspects I could talk about.
But you can also ask questions. Enthuse was asking about
Yes,
the original
please.
Outcast episode 1 that no longer exists in the actual current version, but story-wise is this Dylan Furry? No, this is not the Dylan Furry. The fox was the Dylan Furry. This is a character from the show Has Been Hotel, which, guys, if you like musicals, watch it. Okay, like I don't need to say anything else. It is worth it solely for being a really fun musical. It's definitely not the thing of the season or something, but it's good.
I will say episode 4 does come with that disclaimer. Yes, if you've been around on the internet, you probably know, but just be aware. Essay, some stuff going on.
It definitely gets in it. There's no question.
It went a lot harder than I thought it was going to.
It did go
during
really
the
hard
segment.
Yeah.
I was watching that and I was like, holy shit. But honestly, okay, I have to say one thing, and it requires me to talk about one of the segments of Poison, sung by Angel Dust, when he's reaching up and the cigar smoke just consumes his hand and pulls him back down. Fuck, that's some good symbolism.
It is. They do a lot of that. I will say there's a lot of good visual storytelling in Has Been Hotel, in the shots and the metaphors involved, and then the songs are just really good. The songs are just bops. Okay, can you say that they have problems with pacing? Yes. Can you say that they some of the characters are maybe flat to some people? Sure. Literally, if you like musicals, it's worth it.
But it's 8
episodes.
Fun time?
It's really not a lot of time sink into it. Every episode has 2 songs in it, and literally all of them are fucking bangers, okay? There's not a single one where I'm this is a bad song, okay? There's a couple where I'm they're okay, but they're all
the song Sorry is okay, that's all right, but
Sorry's okay, and in 7 is not I'm not it's not stuck in my head or anything. But none of them are bad. You know,
remember
the
that
instrumentals are good. The one where she's with Cannibal Town.
Oh, yeah.
It's not bad, but it's just totally not a banger. Okay, but episode 1, all songs are banger. Episode 2, I'm trying to remember which songs are in
episode 2 had Sorry in it.
Okay, episode 2, songs are good.
Oh, and Should Have Stayed Gone.
Oh, so episode 2 banger. Episode 3 is, I'm just trying to remember it in order at this point.
Episode 3 was Respectless and
banger.
I'll Be Your Keeper. Respectless is such a banger.
Respectless is banger. Oh. Holy hell. Episode 4, Poison, banger. Loser, banger.
God, it's so good.
Episode 5.
Episode 5 had Hell of a Dad, I think it was called.
Banger.
And then More Than Anything.
Not a banger, but really fucking good.
Emotional banger.
Emotional banger. Oh my god, Jeremy Jordan.
Oh.
Wow.
Jeremy Jordan just.
Episode 6. Does that one have?
Episode 6, You Didn't Know and Welcome to Heaven. Why do I
Fun
know
time.
this?
I'm here
Why,
for it, man.
why did I
You're
memorize
just
this?
fueling the vibe.
How did I
Episode
memorize this?
7,
Episode 7 had a
Emotional, I
reprise
think,
of More Than Anything.
which is emotional and good.
Yeah, that
Cried,
one.
welling
Oof.
up at that.
Oh, and Out for Love.
Banger! Tell you, they're good, man. There's like 2 songs that I wouldn't listen to again specifically, but I'm not upset about
Episode 8,
them.
I think the only song was the finale. I don't think there was another song during episode 8. I think it was just the finale.
Okay. It's also really good.
It's so good.
So yeah, literally, you like musicals, and just like the songs are bangers. Okay, the rhyme schemes are fantastic. The themes, like the musical themes that they bring back, like repetitively and like in different moments,
where they assign characters specific instruments.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Like
it's like Peter and the Wolf. Pop modern
it's
musical.
Like Peter and the Wolf
so good.
Pop musical that takes place in hell. Because you got oh god, what's her name? Carmelita? Caroline?
Oh, Carmilla.
Carmilla, thank you.
Yeah.
You have Carmilla represented by these Spanish guitars during her song, and she has this very like I'm just gonna call it a Spanish sound to it. But then
when Oscar showed me the Spanish version,
she's got like that pop synth going on, and they just, as they're tossing the song back and forth between each other, it switches up. You also have that in You Didn't Know, like Charlie and Emily get this very like pop sound, and then when the angels join in, they get this like electric guitar that's
the song that they sang at the first
They bring back the song "Hell Is Forever" during it.
It's so good.
It's so good.
If you like the musical like acuity, like tact, I don't even know what the word is. The musical skill, I guess, of composing music from Epic the musical. It's the same.
If you like leitmotifs,
vibes.
If you like following a leitmotif through different characters.
Yes.
And
really
listening to it come back. You know what it is?
The story's fun.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Into the Woods.
Yes.
Where each character in that one is represented by the sound in the music. Like when you hear like I wish to go to the festival. It's like that Cinderella song. And then hear I wish to go my granny in the woods. Like that's a Little Red Riding Hood. It's very much like that, but with instruments.
Yeah. It's really good. Really, really good. You know, literally, if you have no other reason to watch it besides, I think the musical aspect of it is amazing.
Please watch it, guys. I need a season 2.
Yeah.
And a season 3. And I need a streaming service to not cancel an LGBTQ show for once.
I have high hopes for Amazon Prime. I have high hopes. I know it's Bezos, but like comparatively at the moment,
still better than the guy
winning.
In charge at Warner Discovery.
Yeah. I also will say that the fact that like Vox Machina is on Prime does give them a little more clout towards it and everything.
Season 3, please.
Yeah.
I need more Vax in my life. And Percy.
I love Percy. Cool Percy and Vax all the way. So good. I thought of Lost in the Woods. Yes.
Okay, guys, I will totally shill right now. If you have not seen the Broadway musical Into the Woods, you guys owe it to yourself to watch it.
I will also say,
do not watch the Disney version.
No. Wait. Hold on. Now I have to look at something.
What do you need to look for?
I have to refresh myself with them.
Okay.
The Disney one is still enjoyable. Okay.
It's still enjoyable, but it misses the point of the show.
That is very true. I will admit that I probably 99% like the Disney Into the Woods specifically for the agony. They do agony
the Disney
with Chris
Into
Pine.
Woods is a
very
good soundtrack, and that's it.
You're right.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I will die on this hill.
No.
It completely misunderstood the point of the story.
Your hill to die on.
Okay.
I also had the privilege, Mars,
don't get me wrong,
of watching
it
with you. And,
I know.
In music class,
We
of the
literally
original
watched
stage
it in our
you
music
know,
class. It's
stage
available on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube anytime you want. It is up there. The full Broadway musical is on YouTube. You can watch it. Guys, I am legit. I will post it in the Discord, but you guys need to watch it. It is such a good play.
After you've seen the original musical version, then solely watch the agony scene.
Yeah. If you must watch the Disney version,
just so funny.
Watch the original first and see how good it is. Bernadette Banner, all the original actors did such an incredible job. Has some of the funniest jokes I've ever seen. Like, this is a funny musical, guys. It is. It's hilarious.
Really good. It's really good.
It is like a comedy show. But then it also has something meaningful behind it too.
Oh.
And the music is done by Stephen Sondheim, and it's amazing. It is amazing. You guys owe it to yourselves to watch it. Give yourselves a good time. It's 3 hours, but it's worth it. It's one of my yearly rewatch things.
It's so fun. Talking about musicals right now, I solely hope that in my lifetime, Epic the Musical comes out as like an actual musical. I will sit through fucking like a 12-hour production of this thing. I would book a whole day to see.
I still need to listen to the new album.
I will say, out of all the albums, the Cersei saga is probably my least favorite. It's still good, but definitely like it leans definitely more into like the vibes that like Hamilton has, which isn't bad, but it's definitely like out of all of them, not my favorite.
Gotcha.
But it is still good. It has the one good song that people like One Wrong Move, that people talk about all the time. Ooh. And I will say it does do the thing that I kind of hoped it did, where it leaned much more into the Odysseus really loves his wife and son and just wants to get back to them. And so at least the vibe I was getting out of listening to the song, the last song on the album, was that he didn't actually end up being with Cersei in any sort of way. So and she kind of respected that. At least that was the vibe I got, which is obviously different from the original source material. But it's better because obviously, yes, good stuff. Is it bad that I've had a lot of chocolate today and want more chocolate?
Well, I haven't had any chocolate today, and now I want chocolate. Actually, no, that's a lie. I had a yodel before coming on stream.
Every once in a while I hear Dylan exclaim oddly through the walls. I mean, he is a man that makes weird noises. That's not supposed to be a weird way. He just makes like random odd noises. Random is not the right word, but he's like a cartoon
outbursts. How about outbursts?
He's like a cartoon character, right?
Yeah.
And he'll be like, "Oh," is what I would say if I almost dropped my glass of water all over my lap. Or something like, he'll do shit like that. So he literally knows it. He's like, "Whoa!" This is very funny. Yahoo!
I do it louder, but I think my house would massacre
It
me.
is Drow. Look, because I like how people can know from basically this one wing. I mean, top tier shit on my end.
That means you've done it well.
But yes, basically immediately after I managed to do Dylan's monk fox, which sadly still does not have a name yet. I will update once he has a name. I was like, okay, Husk sort of checks 99% of the boxes. in like the things, except he doesn't have leggies. Had to give him leggies, and beautiful wings. Now I will say, in an ideal world, I would have made him a collar, but I felt like I had just been pretty good at doing furry art, so I'd try my hand again and sort of redeem myself from the massive amount of struggle I had on stream. And he came together quite quickly, so
The horrors persist, but so does Zori.
Yes. We count Dylan's monk on that stream as like a warm-up. And here we are.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere.
Indeed.
You don't just
warm up
start
is best
at
practice,
the
but
top.
C'est la veste.
C'est la veste indeed.
Okay, let me look at his outside wing. He does have a strip. It is a smaller strip.
Okay, why does this
strip.
keep happening?
We're going more accurate vibes here. In a quote way. A quote unquote way. Realistic. I'm very happy with these wings though. This wing is like where's Jamie when you need to like show off a wing to him,
I hope he's having a good time.
Yeah, hopefully. Whenever anyone is not here with us on stream, I hope it is because of good, fun, enjoyable reasons, and not because you're having a bad time.
Yes.
Always
That is
know.
always the hope.
If you are enjoying touching grass, or playing a video game, or watching a show,
yes,
that is always...
Live that good life.
Live that good life. Please, all off topic. Save it until after the Splatoon DLC. Oh my goodness, Space Chupa. That's a mighty risk.
That is.
I can't believe. Okay. We're on Ace Attorney now, so all Ace Attorney buffs in chat. Okay.
She was
what
waiting,
do
you guys.
think? I wasn't. But what do you think the odds are that we finish Bridge to the Turnabout this week?
Well, that would be wild.
Oh, damn, Pedro, that is very soon. We're in the final... we're in the last court bit. We're in, the home stretch.
That is very true.
Now, we're not in the home stretch because these trials have, 8 different parts and, 20 recesses. Crap. And then we have, the after trial bit and the after credits, the credits bit. But... my vote is I think it'll take 2 more streams. I think it'll be this stream and 1 more, and then we'll be done. We literally just started the trial with Phoenix being the defense attorney. We got the main parts out of it. I believe I testified as... Yes, I did testify as Iris, and then we didn't get to cross-examine her
You read
yet.
your thing.
We have to
You're lying
her.
about Maya.
Yes, she's...
the horrible person you are.
Yeah, she's saying that it was Maya. She was protecting Maya. 2 to 3 streams, maybe 4. Damn! Oh, wow.
What the hell?
Wow, this trial's gonna be long.
How long are we gonna be in court for?
The rest of our lives. Woo!
Yowzers.
All right, then. Damn.
Okay.
I'm not upset. I'm just like, wow.
I trust the aficionados.
Oh, 100%. I think it's so interesting that even with the length that Rise from the Ashes was, every single game has gotten more streams.
Oh, yeah.
So the first
That's
game
the funniest
had
thing.
14 streams. The second game, I believe, had 19 streams. We're about to do stream, I think it's 24.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
We do ramble a lot. I appreciate that it's lovingly induced.
Oh, we ramble a ton.
Again, I want to preface it. I'm not upset by the fact that it's going to take longer. I enjoy the game, right? Definitely I don't want it to end. but it is like, wow, that's a lot of trial. Oh.
See, we haven't reached Rise from the Ashes level where we're just like, oh, please end.
Yeah, I will certainly be curious about. So far, Rise from the Ashes is by far the turnabout that has the most episodes. However, it feels like there is a high chance that will be surpassed eventually, but I don't actually know. Now I have to look at exactly how many episodes Rise from the Ashes is. I feel like it's 56. Or something like that.
Barracks' little two-toned arms are fighting me, so you may have to clean them up,
That
Ori.
is fine.
Apologies.
That is always fine.
I've colored 3 panels, you guys.
Look at that.
I'm so proud.
I most, if anything, Drow, he's not wearing any pants. He has a belt that his suspenders attached to, solely because I wanted the leggies, and I drew them so well that I was like, I can't cover these fluffy boys up with pants now. That would be so sad. And thus he has no pants.
No pants, sexy man it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like furry doesn't need to necessarily have pants.
Okay.
It's
Ori,
for the vibe. He has buttons. Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on, Drew. He has buttons on his fur. This is not a shirt, ma'am. This is buttons on his fur. He is totally plausible to wear a belt solely for the act of having suspenders, okay?
Ori.
Yes.
I am very curious because you have watched the entirety of Has Been Hotel and you have seen Loser Baby, you've seen the interactions.
I don't ship
What
it.
do you think? Oh, okay.
Not one bit.
Damn, you're just gonna kill my build up.
I'm sorry. I don't ship it at all. Like out of all of the sexual tension that I have seen exist in shows, not it. Not it.
Really?
No.
Wow.
Not it. It seems very, very friendly. There's so much like build up before where Husk is just like, no, turning him down with any advances like that. He goes after him as a friend, okay? They have a good time as friends. You know, he's Angel Dust is who Angel Dust is.
I will say I do
King
like the
Starman.
friendship, and I think that's what Angel Dust needs.
Yeah,
but I do
100%
kind
that
of
too.
see it. I don't need it, but I see it.
I feel like I see it just like you can see a lot of things, but out of like this ship is like in the show. Nah, you know, not even like that it's gonna be canon, but just like I'm talking about like Keith and Lance. The tension was
the tension.
there. You know, they fucking have a shirtless
cradled you
pool
in
scene
my
where they're
arms.
doing the Pacha Cusco shit in the elevator. Okay, like I'm sorry. Yeah, cradled you in my arms. We had a bonding moment. It's real gay. Okay, Edgeworth Phoenix. Very gay.
Oh,
okay,
that's
man,
just straight
this
up
turnabout is really feeding us
Ironically.
for the right worth real hard. Whew, wow.
I mean,
In
they
this
thought
one-
it was going to be the last game. They had to give us
Oh,
goods.
I know. I mean, it can only get better from there. Has Been Hotel recommendation. Recommended if you like musicals. If you're a musical hater, stay away. Don't watch it. Don't bother. If you like musicals, fucking watch it. That literally,
Been
that's the
Hotel,
sole thing.
Very recommended.
And also just be warned.
the musicals are incredible.
episode
And
4
honestly, the characters
trigger
are
warnings.
really fun.
Then watch it, King Starman. Man, watch it. Because literally,
Yeah.
almost every song is a banger, and the ones that aren't are still really good.
Oh yeah.
There's not a song that's bad, in my opinion. The musical vibe is just on fucking point, and I attribute literally every other negative thing about it to the fact that they were only given 8 episodes.
Oh yeah.
I literally think that everything else
pacing
would
is
have been
wonky.
solved because
It's literally just because they have 8 episodes. If they were
Yeah.
given even just 10 episodes, I think they could have made it work.
But you know, a
pacing-wise.
lot of the criticism I see is that, like, you know, we didn't get a lot of time with certain characters, and we didn't get like to understand the backstory between Lucifer and blanking Charlie, and like why they are the way that they are, and all this sort of stuff. And I literally think that they have so much in the way of other characters that they really show that they could have done it and just physically did not have the amount of time.
Yeah. See, that's the problem when you're picked
No,
up by a
100%.
service to do a show like this. Like when you're given only a certain amount of episodes, now you have to pick and choose which episodes or which story beats, I mean, to keep.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
especially in this day and age with streaming, I know you have faith in Amazon, Ori, but I am holding nothing sacred. I don't trust any streaming service anymore, especially when the show has LGBTQ representation, because those have been getting axed left and right. I don't blame the creators for being scared that they're not going to be able to tell the story they want to tell. Look at what happened to Owl House. An entire season condensed into only 3 episodes. That is insane.
Yeah.
That is ludicrous. And then you see shows like Our Flag Means Death being canceled, One Day at a Time, A League of Their Own, like all these really good shows that have really big fan bases just out of nowhere being canceled. And what a coinky dink. They all feature LGBTQ representation and characters and discussions. Surely that's not coincidental.
King Starman,
or surely that's just
think
coincidental.
That the criticism itself is not more please. I mean 100% like they set up good shit for a season 2. like yes,
that's
more
definitely
please,
a way to
there
take
is
it, King Starman. I think that's a good outlook. That's a good way to look at it.
Things that were resolved that just in an ideal world
there
would have had more
that
time.
Were resolved
but
very
quick.
quick.
Not
like
think that it ruins it at all by any stretch of the thing.
I will say this. I absolutely adore the song.
I think.
Wait. Hold on.
Go on.
I absolutely, because I have to get this out.
Yeah,
it fits in with what we're talking about. I adore the song You Didn't Know. It has fantastic instrumentals. It brings everything together. It feels like the song that happens before an intermission. It's this big, bombastic song that goes through all the pieces of music that came before. It's a big conclusion and everything.
So good.
But so much is revealed in that single song that honestly could have been its own episode. There are a lot of dynamics changing within that song. There's a lot of new information being learned. There are 2 new characters featured in that song that we're just getting to know, and they have a major character shift in the middle of that song in the exact same episode. As much as I love that song, even then I was like, wow, that is really quick.
the reason I specifically tout it as like, if you like musicals, watch the show, and if you don't like musicals, don't watch the show, is basically because there's this one artist that I have like watched some YouTube videos of on their Hell of a Boss sort of like humanize, make the characters human designs. That's like a vibe that I like.
They're so cool.
But they did one about how they really didn't like Has Been a Hotel, and I was kind of at that point, I'm like curious, right? I'm like, what are they specifically upset with, right? Because I'm very ready to be like, if their only thing is the pacing, like I do not fault the show for that at all. And while that, honestly, for this single person, the pacing was not really technically mentioned at all in like the pacing way, but she talks about how like there was too much information solely given in a song, and I'm just like, you don't like musicals, do you? You don't fucking like musicals, do you? Do you? Like that's what I'm getting out of this. That you fucking
not
hate
what
musicals.
I'm talking about.
And I'm like,
it's
no.
not that the problem is information delivery through song. It's that it's a lot of information.
No. I know what you're saying, but it was just so funny that I'm like watching this and I was like, you're a musical hater, aren't you? Because that the issues you have. Like none of these issues are real issues. I'm sorry. This is just not your preference. And that's why you like Hell of a Boss, because it's not as a musical as, Has Been is.
I gotta say though, Hell of a Boss has been turning to musical.
Well, she was having some words about that too with the Fizzaroli stuff, and I was like,
oh, the Fizzaroli is some of the best stuff. 2 minutes notice?
Yeah. Really?
I'm a clown, bitch? Come on. Instant classics.
So good. But yeah, and I was just like, so you don't like musicals, do you, Squidward? Exactly, Starman.
You don't like musicals, do you, Squidward?
But I wanted to say to Drow, I think this is the most furries I've drawn in years.
This
literally
is literally the
can't
largest amount of
recall
furries you have
a like
ever done.
actual furry that I have done before Dylan's thing. Because before Dylan's Fox character, I didn't draw a furry. I drew Calazar, who was a kobold. So he does have a snoot, but he's not a furry. I literally can't think of anything else. I'm trying to remember. I did do July Canthropy, but that was 2022.
Oh, what the hell?
That was 2022, so that definitely wasn't recent.
Mm.
I did draw for Art Fight last year, which I really hope to be able to do again because so much fun.
That looked really fun.
It's so fun.
I gotta find if there's a challenge for writers
That would be
to
really
join.
wild.
That would be awesome.
What is the snoot ratio to furry? The snoot to furry ratio? Well, I think that kobolds could technically, furry is an umbrella term that technically I would personally say involves like scalies and, birds and all that sort of stuff. Things that don't have fur but are anthropomorphic animals. I think the biggest, this is a furry now, is if it has an animal head and is covered in said animal head's covering of choice, right? Fur, feathers, scales, whatever. Like, they could be completely, plantigrade, human hands, all that sort of stuff, but if they're all covered in scales, or they're all, no, you are correct, King Starman. If they're all covered in feathers, they're all covered in fur, or a moth is fuzzy, whatever it is. I would say that if it has the head of said animal, then it is a furry. I think where the line starts to blur is when you have a human face, which is my preference by far, as you could tell by our comic characters. But I think that's where the line gets kind of fuzzy.
Blurry.
Because my characters are they can be literally nearly furry, but a human being. At certain points, they do have human torsos as well, because that's a collar feature. But the point stands that it's a little more in the broad line of it.
It definitely toes the line.
I definitely have drawn, but it's been a long time, Drow. Really, I'm trying to think, because Calazar was a whole campaign ago. And then I did have...
Carthy was a while ago, too.
Carthy was even longer. Carthy I wouldn't put in a furry category. He has, a human head. He just has an animal nose. Just like I wouldn't put Gillith as a furry,
Yeah,
See, I was told about the phenomena that is called a flat-faced furry. And I will say I don't know how to differentiate... personally, I guess it's saying that their face...
I'm hearing about that.
Yeah, I learned about that during Art Fight. That's why I brought up Art Fight, because I drew someone's character, and it was a flat-faced furry, and they specifically said that their preferences for drawing things were flat-faced furries. A dragon definitely has a snoot. Yep. A dinosaur has a snoot.
Oh no,
Snoot
not
adjacent.
the dragon argument again.
We're not doing that. I could turn Outcast into a musical by having one chapter that is just Heya lyrics by Outcast.
No. If Outcast
won't...
is going to be a musical, it's going to be a jukebox musical using songs by Set It Off.
Oh my god, I mean vibe though. And Let Down and
that's true.
Frickin' another one that I'm blanking on.
See, I know Headley is included in my playlist. I don't know about yours.
I don't think that one's included in my playlist. One Flew West. It's 99% Set It Off, though. That's a lot of Set It Off. It is 80% Set It Off songs. Can't wait for the musical episode. But honestly, Mars, I was thinking, have you ever thought about writing lyrics to an actual Outcast opening? Because I know somebody that does music. And I've been debating reaching out to them for making music about them.
I dabbled a little bit in a little songwriting.
I feel like
mainly poetry was my
well,
vibe.
yeah, poetry is the start. I feel like
I cannot put anything to music. I don't know the first thing about music.
I feel like I'm pretty good if I have like a jumping off point. I need, like, if you were to be like, here is the vibe I want from the, like, Outcast opening, I could probably, not necessarily fully with the music. I mean, I could tell the person that I'm thinking of. You know the person. We went to school with her.
Oh!
Yeah. I was thinking about reaching out to her. She asked me if, you know, in passing about, like, being commissioned for, like, album cover art. And I was thinking either one, I would pay her anyway, or two, we could trade. But, just to make music to it. But I feel like, one, she's definitely not like the lyricist side of it as much, and two, we would want something kind of specific in that fact. So,
yeah, definitely.
But I was kind of thinking about, like, it would be kind of cool to have it be like our actual custom opening song.
Yeah, and not just have Castaways as the main theme. I could definitely play around with something. It's
play
been
around
a while
because that's something I could definitely help with the lyrics too. I just do find that without
we did
any
write
jumping
all those
off.
songs for Spanish class. So
Did write all the songs for Spanish class. I will say, like, I also like writing my like bard songs for D&D stuff, but that has like a very specific. I wouldn't say those are opening song vibes, right? Because they're more like ballads.
Think those are more like, exactly.
Telling the story of the thing. But I do think I could get into it if I had like a diving board, you know?
You know what? Give me a month to play around with the concept, because I do have the script and everything else, and that absolutely takes priority.
Yes,
but
100%. I think that could be a fun
with
thing.
This idea. I think that could be really fun.
Yeah.
I am on board 100%.
Right. Look, guys, you just saw history in the making.
We were born to make history. Guys, I still haven't watched Saibikui Bisco for Valentine's Day.
It's okay.
I need to do that.
You wrote script stuff. Script stuff is important. Guys, Mars is writing entry 7. And can I tell about the like naming scheme we talked about at all?
Oh yeah, totally.
Or is that spoilers? Okay. So
I
guys,
think it's spoilers.
So those of you who are in the know,
they don't
already
know why that's happening. So
okay. Well, those of you who are already in the know that the naming scheme of our sort of comic episodes is based on Hotsun's journal, because that's the vibe it is. It's from kind of like. It's not from Hotsun's perspective, but it's what Hotsun is experiencing, right? He's there. He's the main character of these episodes.
So he's logging,
what
he's documenting
in his journal, right? How his days. And so an entry is the equivalent to, like, this is what happened in a day, you know, from him. He doesn't necessarily write every single day in a row, but, and that sort of thing. And then the pages are, of course, because some of the entries are very long.
Oh yeah.
And so right now we're in entry 7 that Mars is writing, but currently uploading right now is entry 5. So really cool stuff. 6 and 7 are very long. 6 is long, 5 is long, 7 is
just
long.
You wait. 7 might be long.
Yeah, 7's gonna be real long. But we recently talked about that there are some episodes that need a different naming scheme. And
yes.
Should I say the naming scheme?
Yeah, I think that's okay.
All right. So we have one that's called the Captain's Logs, one that's called, what did we say? The Carpenter's, the First Mate's Notes.
First Mate's Notes.
Right. The Medic's Records, which, come on, too fucking perfect.
Too on point.
And Mars came out with the last one, which is the Cook's, what was it? Margins? Yeah, Cook's Margins. So, very cool stuff. I'm excited about those. It was very important to me that when we had sort of moments that are involved with this, that they had different naming schemes.
Yes.
Which is the ship's made of the Captain's Logs. I mean, Milano does specifically write by carving into trees, so, you know, maybe it's more accurate than
maybe it is more of a log.
Maybe it is more of a log.
Look at that character development and we didn't even know we were writing it.
Exactly. So, very cool, very fun stuff. And it'll give me a chance to whip out more of Milano's writing thing, and maybe people can crack the
Yes.
code.
Best of luck, everyone. All right. Holy
But
crap,
very
Hudson,
fun
your
stuff.
ruffles are huge here.
When you
was for-
say stuff like that, I'm like, oh no, what did I do?
No, it's nothing you did. It's just like, it's sometimes when there's like a close-up or we get like a really detailed image of his ruffles, I'm just like, damn, I always forget like how many ruffles there are on his shirt.
Especially the pants ones though. Sometimes I'm like, oh damn, I'm just drawing lines and lines and lines.
So many lines, where does it end?
Many lines.
But guys, we have about a half hour left, so if you have any questions about character histories, or just anything in general, you can ask us about our favorite shows, our favorite anything. If you want some advice,
more stuff about the comic,
we can give that too. We actually gave some advice earlier to Mason today, talking about transitioning between scenes. So we can talk about that.
Anything? I mean, we
anything.
reserve the right to not answer if it's really wild, but yeah, give it a shot.
You can always try your luck, see what you can get away with.
I will say there's very few things that we won't say something about.
I will say this, I'm staring at the Wolfwood and Vash figure and I'm so happy.
I'm waiting for Punisher to touch the block, okay? It's getting there.
Oh, my Punisher is touching the block.
Really? Mine is not.
Okay, so you have to it took me a while to figure it out. You have to line it up just right. Like, it's not fully against the block. It's literally just the corner of Punisher touching the block. That's it.
The corner doesn't touch the block at all. Ace Attorney shifts, right worth, hella easy done.
Oh, right worth, absolutely.
I'd be okay with the Maggie Gumshoe. I don't think I'm there yet where I'm like, ooh, yes. Dylan didn't help.
I'm not attached to that one.
I'm not attached, but I wouldn't be upset if that's like an end thing. Judge
I know Maya
shipped.
Oh yeah, that was canon.
It's canon as heck.
That was canon at the end of the day.
Good.
I know people ship Maya Francisca.
We had one moment that I edited that we're like, oh yes, there's a moment here. But so far I'm not 100% yet. I do feel like there is.
I can see how people looked at the scene where she was trying to get into the cave, like in the case we're currently in, and being like, "Oh, she wants to rescue Maya so bad." Like, I could see people looking at that and getting that out of it. It is cute. I will say one of the funniest. Okay, this is a dynamic that cracks me the hell up. Is when the quote-unquote innocent character is more like kinky or wild than the adult character. So like there was this comic I came across where, okay, you guys know Francisca has a whip. She and Maya are like having some banter back and forth, and in the comic, Edgeworth and Phoenix like walk in, and literally that's what happens. Like, he just walks in and he's like, "Edgeworth, I need an adult," and Edgeworth's just like, "You are an adult," and he's like, "Oh shit."
He would, Drow. Yeah, no. Yes. It is only a few colors, the palette, but yeah, the spots and stripes are not helping him make fursuiters.
I ship Lotta with Pain.
Yes, not Winston Payne, Pain.
Well, you know what? They do both deserve to suffer, so they can make each other's lives hell.
I am okay a lot more with Winston than I am with Lotta. No, we just don't like Lotta Kingston.
Oh, we hate Lotta.
We solely just don't like Lotta.
Kingstar, if you've watched the last Ace Attorney clips or the last videos that went, literally the video that went up today is just us hating on Lotta the entire time because she is being the worst person
I
in the
have
history of ever. I think that moment broke Ori. Like, I broke in the first game when she was being a bitch during the final turnabout. This turnabout, when it came to Lotta, just broke Ori.
I have
And it was the
two
funniest thing.
I have two bitch rants, and they are right now currently related to Dahlia / Iris and Lotta. And that's it.
Which, you know, vibe and deserving.
She
They are
does
indeed
Maya
bitches.
dirty. She does Edgeworth dirty. She does Phoenix dirty. Again
yeah.
and again and again. No, we
Listen,
hate Lotta.
I'm
This is a
sorry
Lotta
for
hating
being
household.
Such a terrible friend. Let me make it up to you by making you pay for the evidence that'll save your
Oh,
friend.
you forgave me, and I want to be your friend in like the second turnabout. But
Pay
just
up,
a couple
bitch.
of months later, you fucking stole my camera, bitch. I stole your wallet basically and made you
Yeah.
pay me for
And
a
bought-
new one.
And bought a new one with
Yeah,
your non-existent
it's a rite
money.
of passage. Yes, it is. I will say
No,
it is a funny.
I keep saying jokingly to Ori, like, there's going to be a Lotta stand one day. They're going to come and find our
I
channel.
don't think there can be a lot
and
of Stan.
There,
I feel like that's
no.
too far.
No, there's always one Ori. That's the thing
heavens.
with fandoms. There's always one person. Did I put this on the same layer? Oh no, I didn't. Okay, thank God. I thought I had to start over.
Ugh.
But no, the Ori, the internet people. No, there is one person out there who adores Lotta, and they're going to find us one day, and they are going to hate our guts for ragging on their fave character. They're going to be like, "How dare you!" But you know, if you like Lotta, more power to ya. But
Yeah, the Ace Attorney influence.
I would probably no.
Reassess your own morals if you like Lotta. What are
yeah.
her redeeming qualities? I would love to know.
None.
Lotta stands out there. If you do exist, as Mars says you must.
I am convinced. I am convinced. The internet has taught me not to assume anything.
This
so
is
I
very
won't.
true. This is very true. But
I didn't think there were Von Karma simps out there, and look at that.
yeah, and Enthuse learned firsthand that there are.
Exactly.
Again,
See,
Enthuse.
assume
I don't know if I
anything.
said pro big hair con everything else. Yeah, vibe. Mars did like her style, her like camper aesthetic.
Okay. That was why I was so bad during Smash or Pass, because I'm like, her style is really cool. I like the hair. I like the headband. I
The
like
earrings.
the camper aesthetic. Like, it's so on point. It really feels like someone out in the world. Like, it is good character design. That's why I'm so mad that she's such a sucky character. I want to like her, but I can't.
She just made it worse and worse and worse. Mars forgave her in Turnabout Goodbyes, and then she just removed any goodwill we had in Reunion
Yeah.
and Turnabout, man.
Oh, Lotta.
Oh, it's just her humor. Her humor is good. Her humor is fine. She has some funny moments. I will say.
Oh, I do think it's fun when she's on screen. Like, it's
Yeah.
always a fun time.
I will say though, I think that our humor surrounding Lotta is better. I will say, fucking peak comedy is when we're like, oh, the game is like, oh, you didn't have a hole to crawl into, so you crawled into this clothing box, and then Mars is like, well, I could have crawled into the incinerator, and then it's like, wait, that's where human trash belongs. That's where trash belongs. And it's like, oh shit, you're right. Peak comedy.
That's not a bad idea. I'll see you later, Phoenix.
And nothing of value was lost.
No, honestly, the ad-libbing we do surrounding Lotta is...
Yeah, top tier.
It's good.
I
It
will
cracks
say,
me up every
I
time I see it.
totally love the Ace Attorney franchise. It has been
You
very
are
good to us
allowed
so
to
far.
laugh at your own jokes.
But man, do I think that, you know, however conceited I am, we make it real funny. I'll be a little conceited. Here, you know, it's a little influencers and we don't have imposter syndrome here. We know we're funny.
Speak for yourself.
We did smash her. So we've smashed her past every single game, King Starman, that we've played through. So we have 2 smasher passes. We have one that's a fully edited video, which was a like 3-hour stream that was edited down to 45 minutes, which is really impressive.
Took the entire time we usually stream.
Very impressive. That's the smasher pass of the very first game of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. We did smasher pass the second game. It'll be a while until the video comes out, but the VOD is up on YouTube, and you can watch that. And then we are in the final stretch of Trials and Tribulations. So once that is finished, the next stream will be Trials and Tribulations Smasher Pass. And in addition, it'll be a overview of how we feel about cases.
Of all the cases in the very first trilogy.
In a very sort of like a scoreboard judgy kind of manner, where it has like different categories and then the points get added up and then we can rate what we actually think about it. Because sometimes it's hard to be just like, this is my favorite and this is not, you know, like there's other factors.
Well, there's so many merits that you can rank a case on because there's so much going on. You got the characters, you got the overall mystery, you got the mechanics, you got the clues to getting there. There's so many layers. It's
and sometimes the characters can be good, but the mystery
impartial.
Can be bad, you know, lots of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Favorite case that isn't a
I love Rise
case.
from the Ashes in terms of the characters. I hate it in terms of the mechanics.
Great characters, villain decent. I feel like he fell short, and that's just involved with also the mystery. Sadly, just the catharsis fell short at the end. Bless you. But favorite case that isn't a finale case. I really enjoyed the Stolen Turnabout a lot. I feel like, I will say, a lot of my enjoyment does come up with like how we get to interact with players. So I don't like Steel Samurai partially because God, we struggled with finding everything. But when you think about it solely story-wise, yeah, we have the Edgeworth come-around bit. I mean, the fence is like my crowning achievement in my opinion.
Oh yeah, or he nailed that one.
Or face swap is also my crowning achievement. You know, like both really fun things that I was like, oh, I was really in on it. But like, I did find it very frustrating, and none of the characters from the case itself were particularly like enjoyable in a sense. Like Old Bag is funny, but like overall I definitely like characters a lot more from other cases than the characters introduced there. What was I gonna say? So that's my thing where it's like, oh, I really like the Stolen Turnabout because honestly Luke Atney is a very fun character to like just deal with on screen, and obviously Dylan's portrayal really helps that, really aids
Ron
that.
Delight is also really fun.
Ron Delight is a fun
Desiree
character.
is also a super fun
But I wouldn't say
character.
that I was necessarily like super enamored with the mystery of it. That probably is partially with the silhouette that basically shows you that it was Luke Atney the whole time. But I also don't think that would have necessarily prevented us from pretty much suspecting it was Luke Atney, because like who else would it be? Desiree? I don't know. But so
if they took it in that direction, that would have been interesting.
Was decent actually though, because we did have like the Ron Delight and it was Luke Atney all along. I'll put tentatively, thinking about it right now, Stolen Turnabout is my favorite. Good night, King Starman. Thanks for hanging out.
Oh, night, King Starman.
Do I ever cross color palettes?
I'm trying to think which one might be my favorite.
I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, Drown. Like, if I wanted something to taste like a strawberry, do I like make a color palette to make it taste like a strawberry in your head? Is that what you're asking? Or are you asking something
what?
else that I'm not sure about? Drow asks, do I ever cross color palettes with flavor profiles? So, I don't know.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you guys were saying Pastry Puff, and again, well, obviously that would have made it less obvious. I don't think it necessarily ruined it any more than, like, we basically knew that it was Morgan the whole time, like Morgan and Aini the whole time. We basically knew that it, we 100% knew that it was Red White the whole time.
Morgan telegraphed her, I am full of vengeance tendencies.
So I will say,
very early on.
Being not blurred does kind of go with the vibe that the first non-tutorial case of every game has been, we know who the killer is, but how and why is the main mystery there. Because that happens with Red White, that happens with Aini and Morgan, and that happens with Luke at me, right? So it's like, we know they're the killer, but why did they do it and how did they do it? That is relatively on brand for the whole thing.
But that's also part of the mystery, which is its own brand of fun.
Yeah, exactly. But
honestly,
I would also say,
like,
I don't
with
think...
other cases, like, I feel like we all knew, oh, it was Furio Tigre who did this. Like, that was no secret.
You can, like, tell, yeah. Well, also,
exactly.
They showed Phoenix lookalike in, like, the profile things. And we were all, like, suspecting Gant immediately. You know, I feel like the only
as soon as he stepped in, we were like, no,
I feel
sus.
like the only killers that, like, kind of threw me for a little loop,
I feel like Dee Vasquez,
yeah, because
definitely.
it could have been a bunch of people. So hers was a little like, ooh, it definitely could have been Salmonella, you know. So it was like, oh, Von Karma is like the biggest one for me, and that's honestly a big reason why I love that case. Is because it's like, ooh, we knew it was the boat keeper, like he's being weird, it's real sus stuff. But then to have Von Karma be like, no, I'm like the mastermind behind the whole thing, was kind of like,
I'm pulling the string.
That was not expected, but not in a way where it's like a twist and you couldn't see like the through lines, right? Like, it's done well, it's done properly.
Oh yeah,
right.
You could still connect everything.
Yeah, and so honestly, that's probably another big reason why that's my favorite case still, and I will hold to that.
It's just such a tightly written case.
So
like, they thought about every element of that.
Yeah. It's so tight, and it's a case that really does everything, right? It does mystery, it has the mystery itself, one thing, and then it, on top of that, has the story, the third thing, the second thing, and then the third thing, it has a fun character in Von Karma. Now, I don't know how much of that was done by how Dylan portrays him. I will say that there is a lot of
Dylan definitely contributed to that.
Yeah, and I will say a lot of my personal, like, characterization of the characters does come from how we, as, like, the trio, played them and interacted with them. Doing it in sort of like a playthrough, like a sterile playthrough on my own, maybe I would have certain different reactions to it. But the ad-libbing that
I do have to say, if I were
really
playing it
adds to
on my
characters.
own, I would not be imagining the voices Dylan has come up with.
Yeah, wouldn't have that. But then some, just the ad-libbing on top of that. Not even just the voices. Like the ad-libbing that we get from Von Karma, from Gumshoe. Like, Gumshoe's voice is pretty on point to what I would expect, but there's some, like, ad-libbing to Gumshoe that, like, is like, oh no, this is vibe, but not what he says, or these sort of things. So I will say that at a certain point, my perception is tainted in a way from the base game, and that will always be a bias that way. If I enjoyed the portrayal one of us had of a character specifically, I will just enjoy them maybe more than they, quote-unquote, deserve by how they're written. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, totally. Because it all comes down to, like, why you like certain characters. It can come down to actor portrayal. That's true for every medium, not just what we're doing.
But in a game that has basically no voice acting, and then adding voice acting and ad-libbing, it, like, really adds on top of it.
It brings it to life. No,
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly. I don't think I would enjoy almost any of the villains as much as I do if it wasn't Dylan playing them the way that he did. There, yeah, I know he's here. Did you hear him?
I did. Hello.
Mars says hello.
I heard it.
She hears it. Yes, I didn't watch it specifically because spoilers, but I do want to watch it once we manage to finish it.
All in due time.
Okay. That'll probably be the last thing then, Pastry Puff, since it is slowly approaching time.
Yes. Oh my goodness, this night went by so fast.
This week
Can't
is going
stand
so
it.
slow for me, though. Holy heck.
Ugh. I need it to go slower.
You need the week to go slower? Damn.
Yes.
Wow. I'm like, why isn't it not, like, today should have been Thursday. I'm like, please.
Please don't wish that on me yet.
I need my cherry magic, and then I need the weekend.
Okay, that's true. I need cherry magic. I need the next dungeon meshi. I need the next free run. I am just
Yeah, why does
dying.
everything come out on Thursdays these days? Damn.
Everything either comes out on Thursday or Saturday. Which, okay, Saturday I understand. Everybody's home. Everyone
but
like
Thursday?
is probably watching stuff. But why Thursdays?
Yeah, it's like a weird one.
It's like goddamn cherry magic.
I just want to watch you already. Thank you, Drow. I realized I needed
to see my boys dating.
Wing bit to be thicker, this black stripe, so that's why we're coloring it in. But honestly, Drow, that's like a big part of the reason why I was like, yes, I'm going to draw a husk. Is because he has wings.
Or
and he literally only trumped Lucifer because I could add the leggies easily onto Husk. He's basically almost has the leggies.
I love the direction they took Husk's character in Has Been Proper. Like, don't get me wrong, I liked him in the pilot, but I definitely didn't think much of him.
Yeah, I mean, you only get so long. I will say they did change Nifty up a lot from the pilot.
Oh, Nifty is an absolute little gremlin, and it's amazing.
The way every case in Justice for All, Francisco learns a portion of her backstory. Oh, wow. I never even thought about that, Pastry Puff.
Oh, I'm missing stuff. What's happening?
Oh, so all of the turnabouts reflect Francisca's portion of her backstory. Remember, at this point, we think Edgeworth is dead. So, the reunion and turnabout has two sisters. One dies and the other has to wear their face and live in their shadow for a long time. Turnabout Big Top has a sibling that dies, and the remaining sibling takes their anger out on the closest person they could blame. And Farewell My Turnabout is about grieving the loss of their emotional anchor, who Celestine poxed, because she was Celestine Pox, leaving the other person behind and lost and confused about their place in life, faking a strong face to cover it up. And yeah, they do reflect a lot. I'm glad Edgeworth didn't actually die, though. Whew.
I would have rioted if Edgeworth died.
That would have been rough. I gotta say, just like if they had Pearl die. Oh, these would have been
Could tough. You imagine?
Tough times, man. I will say, if done well, I probably would have cried. So far, nothing has made me cry on stream yet, which I'm impressed about because I'm not very difficult to get to well up. But if they get real emotional, he knows. It's okay. He welled up at the same place in Has Been Hotel as I did.
Ah, perfect. This is a good hootsin'.
Beautiful. All right, guys. I think with that, we're gonna head off. Thank you for hanging out with us on this Tuesday evening.
Thank you all
this
kindly for letting me rant about free rent
Wednesday
and
morning.
using this as an excuse to rant about it.
Yeah, and just chilling with us, talking about ACT,
Yeah.
talking about story stuff. We always love it, always enjoy it. Sad I didn't get Husk finished, but such is life. All right, guys.
You do what you can.
Indeed. All right, we will see you on Thursday for character creation with Dichotomy Games.
Yes! It's gonna be a whole thing, you guys. We're counting on you to help us build this character. Be there or be square.
Yes. Oh, we have a little more from Pastry Puff. Last bit. Turnabout Big Top, we learn Francisco's true motivation of revenge. Remember my turnabout, we learn about Francisco's loss and confusion at our own place. Yep. It makes a lot of sense. All right, guys. Yes, thank you all, channel members.
Tight writing.
And I don't know why it's not doing what I want it to do. There it is. All right. And thank you all for coming. We will see you on Thursday. Good night.
See y'all then. Oh, jeez. Good night.